Hello, everybody! Hi, happy Friday! It's Friday night. My name is Elise, and welcome to my tea table. I'm so happy. Tea Sleuth, Kayla, you are already here. Was it the hot tub? Was it the hot tub that brought you here? Because I'm pretty excited about the hot tub today. This is first time I'm streaming from the hot tub. Really enjoying it. Oh, my Steam is a little slow right now. I'm finding my computer slow tonight. I don't know what's going on. I probably should just do a whole reboot, but it happens. How are you all doing tonight? Good to see y'all. You've never been in a hot tub? Well, you're missing out, Eric. You seriously are missing out. A hot tub is pure perfection, really, to be honest. Oh, I'm kind of heartbroken. My hot tub is you don't like being in water. Well, that's that's a sad thing. I love being in water. That's my happy spot. That's totally my happy spot, being in water. Yeah, so a hot spring, and that's what I liked about this hot tub is it's kind of like it seems as if it could be a hot spring, like it's like a man-made hot spring that you know, is like a cement filling, and then the water inside is a hot spring. But unfortunately, all of my steam is not performing well for me right now. Maybe if I turn the screen back on, it'll come back on. Let me just go. Let me go just block this little bot. Appreciate your consideration, bot, but I don't like those things. Welcome to my tea table. Every Friday night, I come on the stream and talk about ways that we can live our best life. Now, there is no specific protocol or path. I can't say that for you because all of our paths are unique. But what we can do is talk about overarching concepts. I do consult various Google Scholar articles to understand what the academics and the experts have to say about these topics. I literally... Oh, good for you. I look forward to seeing your cave. Maybe you could have like a little hot spring next to your cave that we can hang out in. I selected this topic of perfection like right before coming on. Like I did not really plan or anticipate that I was going to talk. Usually I'm thinking about the topic that we're going to be talking about days ahead of time. It's usually something that's like a theme that I'm dealing with personally, a topic of conversations that I'm finding with my friends. But I really didn't find anything today. But I did start about an hour and a half late because of perfection, because of perfectionism. And so that's why I chose this topic. And so I found some articles that kind of dive into the psychology of perfectionism, which I think is something that a lot of us can say that we are dealing with in our lives. You know, and I think that there's so many different levels of perfectionism, and I'm like really looking forward to hearing what chat has to say on their perspectives of it. As usual, Friday nights are a casual, fun time for us to connect, to talk about our best lives, but it's also like an open-ended conversation. You know, I am going to be referencing some articles and, you know, trying to learn some new things, but I want to learn from you as well. So please feel free to drop any questions. You're welcome to ask questions about tea. I might know some answers to that. We've got some tea experts in the chat as well. They may be able to help us as well. We got a little Doge tea expert here too. He wants to say hello. Say hello, Bitcoin. Hello. Hello. Bitcoin got a bath today, so he's extra cuddly and sweet and precious. He's so... See, he doesn't like the water. We're going to have to keep Bitcoin out of the hot tub. He can sit in the tea table Just out here, like I'm here relaxing in the hot tub. It's really nice. Yes, you're safe. You're safe. You don't consider yourself a perfectionist, Tea Sleuth? Well, that's okay. Yeah, you don't have to. And actually, I think that the article is going to be, the first article that I'll be looking at is going to be addressing like a broad spectrum when it comes to perfection, which just isn't about the perfection itself, but about like our own perceptions about imperfection, which it seems, you know, that maybe that's part of the scale that you identify with your imperfections, like focusing on the imperfections versus focusing on trying to be perfect all the time. Yeah, Bitcoin's gonna come say hi to you. He's like, is this got the smell-o-vision? Because you can smell. I do not smell like a Frito-Lay bag. Oh, interesting. Wow, Kayla. I will look that up. Okay, I haven't heard anything about that. So Kayla says Resma Menachem. Where is this person from? They share that perfectionism is a part of white supremacy. I am open to that perspective and understanding more where that came from. Now, also, you may be wondering why I chose to stream from a hot tub today. Hey, Don, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Happy Friday night. Oh, My Grandmother's Hands. Okay, so that was a book that you recommended to me, Kayla, and I have yet to pick that up. I'm so sorry about that. Oh, yeah, Bitcoin just gave me, he just gave me the side eye. He was like, what? You didn't listen to Kayla? She told you. Yeah, oh, if you can find a reference article, please try to put it in. You may not be able to get the link in, but just send it through Messenger. If you want to send me a link, Kayla, because I think I have links turned off. But yeah, I'm streaming from a hot tub kind of as a joke. Of course, streaming and drinking tea from a hot tub is like absolute perfection, I believe. But the reason why I say it's kind of a joke is because Twitch launched a brand new category of streaming called hot tubs. What's it? Hot tubs, beaches, and pools. I don't know. It's like basically to address the new category of streamers. Oh, Bitcoin says hello to you too, reputable. His name is Bitcoin. He's a sweet little Chihuahua Beagle mix. Yeah, so there's like a new category of mostly female streamers that are streaming content from a hot tub, you know, wearing a bikini. I'm not wearing my bikini today. I'm not trying to do that kind of stream. But because there's a new category, I'm just trying to open this up to new audiences. You know, so please be patient if being in this category does attract a certain viewer in chat that we're not used to having around. We'll definitely take care of the trolls quickly if we do come across that. But I think it should be cool. I actually went to go check out the category, and there are a lot of people that are like streaming from fake hot tubs just so that they can be in the category of being in a hot tub. So I'm not the first one to do this. But I am a little heartbroken that my hot tub is not steaming for me right now. When I first loaded this video up, it was a steamy hot tub. Oh, he's getting all the scratches. That's the one thing that Bitcoin likes about baths, about bath time, is that he gets lots of cuddles and pets because he doesn't stink like a bag of Frito-Lays, because usually he does, but right now, oh, he smells so fresh and he's so soft. And he's so precious. He's a precious boy. So yeah, I'm trying to hack the algorithm to get us to talk about our best lives with a whole new community of people. You know, Bitcoin is one of those hacks, as always. But you know, the hot tub. So this may be a thing. Yeah, scratches for days. He's so happy. He's such a happy boy. He's such a happy boy. Yeah, I started, you know, I had made a goal yesterday that I was going to produce some content to promote the event in New York City that I'm going to be live streaming next week. So next week, Saturday, is gonna be friggin' awesome on the Twitch channel. It is gonna be so cool, like pretty much all day long. I'm going to be streaming live music, tea performances, workshops. There's like a whole bunch of events and different cool stuff going on with the New York City Spring Tea 2021. And so I intended to produce some content to promote the event. And I got carried away being a friggin' perfectionist. So that's why I was late. And I figured, you know what, this could be an interesting talk about. The Twitch, so yeah, Dawn, I know you have always been joining us from the Facebook stream, but I'm not sure if you've ever caught on, but like, I stream, right now I'm streaming to 6 different platforms, and Facebook is just one of them. Okay, all right. You're gonna get wet, Bitcoin. You're gonna get wet if you come over here, Bitcoin. You're gonna fall into the hot tub, boy. You don't like being wet. You were wet earlier today after your bath. It was like 100 degrees outside and he was shivering. He was shivering so cold after his bath. He doesn't like being wet. That's the main thing that he hates about being wet. Yeah, Dawn, so we are also streaming to our Twitch channel as well as YouTube and Twitter. I restream to all the platforms just to make sure the community that we've been building on all of those different platforms, which is a different community everywhere, has the opportunity to hang out with us and contribute to the discourse and to the conversation. He's such a baby. He's such a baby. Yeah. But this is him communicating. He's a very vocal little pup. Are you ready to go down? Are you gonna sit nice? You're sit nice on the tea table. Here, Dawn. I'll put the link. Yeah. So Dawn, I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but sometimes when there's several people in Twitch, because your comments actually are getting pushed to Twitch, so they get to see what you're saying, but they don't get to see what you're saying, which is why I always put in a lot of effort into addressing all of your comments, so that everybody can keep up with you. Can you sit? Sit, boy. Sit. Sit down. What do you want? You want more cuddles? Oh, he's a baby. He's a baby. I'm sorry. Yeah, our stream got distracted by Bitcoin. Usually he waits until like a couple hours into the stream until he decides he's gonna come and be needy of all of my attention. All right, so I did get your link. Let me open up that link that you sent me, Kayla, with the article. Okay, so the article you sent me is not exactly from the book. Yeah, so Dawn, if you come to tlet.tv and then create an account on Twitch, it's free, it's fun. Like, you may actually end up liking Twitch. It's a lot of fun. There's all different kinds of content there. And then you'll be able to interact with everybody there. But you don't have to make an account either. You can just visit the Twitch Tlet channel. But don't worry, on Saturday next week when I'm streaming from the New York City Tea event, I will stream to Facebook as well. It will be coming there, so you will be able to see it there. You all came in to just watch me give my dog some comfort. He's been feeling really needy lately like this. He's usually not like this. And it's funny because anybody that knows this dog in real life, they know like this is weird because he's a very independent. I mean, his name is Bitcoin and he totally embraces that name of just being feisty, unpredictable, and Yeah, prone to bite you. He is very prone to bite you, but yeah, recently he's been like this. He's been a lot like this. It's okay, boy. It's okay. He is older. Everybody thinks he's a young pup, but I believe he's about 10 years old. So, you know, he's a full-grown pup. He knows what he likes in life. He knows what he doesn't like in life. All right, so yeah, I'll check out this article that you sent me. We'll include it with our little lit review a little later. I'm gonna drink some tea first. And again, if you have any questions about tea, I am, you know, a tea expert, and there is no certification for this, so don't think I'm trying to be bigger than what I am. But I'm a food scientist that has been studying and working in the tea trade for over a decade. So, and when I say that I've been working in the tea trade, it's a very deep meaning to that. The company that I am streaming from right now, this studio where I'm at, is Tealet, which is a B2B marketplace that connects independent tea farmers with tea business buyers. So a lot of your favorite tea shops may be using our platform for sourcing their tea. So I'm very grateful for that work. I've been able to travel all around the world, work on cutting edge technology, and yeah, really get to learn a lot about tea as a science, as a cultivated product, but then also tea as like a very deep, almost spiritual practice. Yeah, so it's vast. Like what we cover in our stream and in our education is vast. It's not just green tea and white tea. But we do get a question here from Beer Folly for All, cool name. They ask my opinion on white tea. Well, I think white tea is great. And since you've asked about white tea, I'm gonna drink some white tea right now. Bitcoin, are you gonna let me drink some white tea? Maybe Bitcoin's opinion is a little bit more vocal than mine. Oh, Bitcoin. Oh, dear boy. Oh, dear boy. Why do you gotta be like that, boy? He's getting to be an old man. You're right. But keeping it, it's so interesting, Halo, you say that, because when I was setting up this stream for protection, all right, I guess I have no choice. I'm gonna have to deal with this dog being like this tonight. When I was setting up this stream to talk about perfection, I thought, you know what? I've kind of talked about this before when I talked about, like, always hustling, always feeling the need to be busy, always feeling the need to be working on something versus just, like, if you're in the middle of something, having the ability just to close the book on it and be like, okay, it's good enough, I gotta go. His name is Bitcoin, and his name has been Bitcoin since 2013. So I got him when he was about 2 years old. He's about 10 now, so he's experienced some stuff. But he's a Chihuahua Beagle mix. He's a very unique look. You know, he's got those long legs. There actually may be some Italian Greyhound. Look at him. Look at him. He's got a personality. He's got a personality. How do you feel about losing your dog when he goes to the moon? I'm okay with it, you know, because I'll be proud. I'll be so proud of this little boy if he makes it all the way to the moon. Yeah. So, you know, we end up being educators of Bitcoin, and I've been using him as like an education tool since I first got him. So when we first got him, that was when the company was first using Bitcoin payments. Like, we were selling tea for Bitcoin, and it was really valuable, important part of our business. It kept our business growing. It kept revenue going. It was incredible. It was awesome. And so that's why all the team decided, let's call him Bitcoin, because he's golden. Bitcoin's important to the business. He was our office dog. I got him specifically to like build up morale in the office. And back in 2013, when I go to the dog park or I'm taking him out for a walk, people would say, "Oh, you're Bitcoin. Isn't the CEO of Bitcoin corrupt?" Like, that was the most educated question I got from people when they heard his name was Bitcoin. And so it gave me a really great opportunity to teach people what Bitcoin really was and to tell the story of why Bitcoin was important to our company, not because we were investing in it and getting the capital gains on it, but because we were using it to more efficiently connect with our customers. Yeah, he's being super snuggly. He's usually not like this, Kayla. You know that about him. He's like totally grabbing on. He's like, leave me alone. Leave me and go. I'm getting my cuddles. But now it's cool. When I say his name is Bitcoin, the questions that I get are very different. People are much more educated on what it is. And now it's at a point where the education, he doesn't drink Tang, no. Although I wouldn't put it past him to like eat the powder, because this boy will eat everything. He wants to eat everything, even though he's a skinny little thing, but he loves to eat everything. All right, Bitcoin, are we good now? Am I gonna be able to make my tea now? Please and thank you. Okay, thank you. Let me make my tea. You asked about white tea. I'm gonna get back to your question, and I will talk about oolong tea as well. I'm gonna get some Chomay. I've got some right here. Got my big bag of tea here. Oh, you thought Bitcoin was a dog? Yeah, he is a dog. But it's funny because now it's not just Bitcoin. Now there's Dogecoin. Now there's Shiba coin. And so, oh yes, you are so youthful and hip. Look at that. Tea is magic. That is like so youthful and hip. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Wow, can't believe it. So, you know, now I'm working on making him a costume where he can be, oh my god, really? Yeah. Where he can be a Shiba. He's going to be a Shiba Inu. So then he can be a proper Doge. Because he doesn't look like a Doge. He doesn't look like a Doge. He's a Cheagle. He's a unique. He's a Bitcoin. He's a golden Bitcoin pup. So if people do want to call him Doge, we got to give him a costume for that. But there are no Shiba Inu dog costumes. Isn't that funny? Who wants to get a costume for their dog of a different breed of dog? Like, is that a thing? Is that really a thing? Oh, you see that? Do you see all that dust? Like, there's all this like tea dust that went up. That's from all of the trichomes, or the cannabis users may know it as what is that? The keef. It's all the keef from the tea. Can you please stay? If not, I'm gonna put you down. I'm gonna put you down on the ground. You can go take a nap on a pillow somewhere. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to custom make his Shiba Inu costume. That's not gonna be an easy fix. I'm gonna have to custom make that. So what I'm doing here at my tea table, this is Chinese style of brewing tea, of tea service. This is not a tea ceremony. There's nothing reverent here other than just, you know, enjoying a good cup of tea for myself. Yeah, Jonelle, you could dress Chai as a Chihuahua. That would be sweet. That would be very sweet. Chai would be a very large Chihuahua. So this is, the style of tea brewing is called Gung Fu Cha, or Gung Fu Tea. It's a pup tea, yeah. It's definitely a pup tea. All right, Bitcoin, you've lost your privilege. You can't just sit. Can you just sit? I'm gonna put you down. You can come back up later. Okay, he's ready. That's his way of telling me he's ready to go down. What do you mean Taiwanese style? That this tea or the tea service? I mean, it's a loaded question because you're right. Original Gung Fu Cha as a style of brewing tea started in Chaozhou, China. It is a Chinese style. Yeah, it does sound like Bjork. Good catch. Yeah, and music, as always, is provided by our dear friend Sojourner. He is a local musician here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Check his music out, Sojourner. I am so grateful for Sojourner's music. He is a dear friend of T-Let. Oh, I see. All right. Well, I don't think so. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that, Eric. That like using a picture makes it exclusively Taiwanese. But no, there's some accuracy to your statement, and you may not know this. Of like, I think you were just trying to be smart with me, but or maybe you do know this, and this is the reason why you said that. But Gung Fu Cha is actually a very long practice way of brewing tea, a very specific way of brewing tea. Still not a ceremony, but there are specific protocols that you follow from Chaozhou, China. And in the 1980s in Taipei, in Taiwan, the tea business owners there, including the tea shop owners, wanted to popularize tea, like hanging out at a tea shop and drinking tea together. So they adopted the term Gung Fu Cha and popularized that term, like did a big marketing campaign and got people really excited about doing Gung Fu Cha. So like the widely practiced tea service of Gung Fu Cha didn't really start until the 1980s. And so that surprises people. But a lot of times when people learn about this Gung Fu Cha, they assume it's ceremony. And there's a lot of reasons why, and it's easy to understand why that happens, because there is a feeling of reverence, there is a feeling of protocol that's going on here, but in actuality, it's just a service. And Gung Fu, the term is the same term as Kung Fu that we know from martial arts, which just means to do something with great skill, and that great skill doesn't necessarily have to do with experience, certifications, schooling. It more has to do with your intention, that you want to brew the best cup of tea that you possibly can for your guests. And in relation to tonight's topic, when it comes to brewing tea, there is also misperceptions that there is perfection. There's like a perfect way of doing it. And when it comes to an intentional Who told you that, Eric? I've never heard that before. So anyway, here's the, this is called Shomei. This is, a pretty tippy white tea from Fujian, China. It's not the highest grade of white tea. Typically the highest grade of white tea would be only the tips, and that's typically called the silver needle. Shomei is, you can see the color variability. There's some darker leaf, some lighter leaf, and that's all a matter of oxidation. Yeah, I don't know about that, Eric. I don't know about that. And the only reason why, like, I know so much about, and I don't know so much about it, but like, why I'm really adamant about saying this story about how Gung Fu Cha started in Chaozhou, but it was popularized and like kind of commercialized in Taiwan, was because there is a big issue with cultural appropriation happening among tea practitioners that attach reverence to Gung Fu Cha, that it is some type of proper ceremony. And there is a very knowledgeable researcher, tea researcher out of Hong Kong, Lawrence. I'm sure you know him. Oh, that smells beautiful. The tea smells great. Oh, should I keep my nose on the guy wanting to know when it's brewed perfectly? I gotta get perfection here. You know, I know somebody who told me one time that, oh, my dog went down. He was being too needy and too snuggly. Maybe he'll come back up. He'll come back up. But if you're on TikTok, you can see a lot of videos of Bitcoin. He's kind of the star of our channel. But yeah, Lawrence. Oh, Jonelle, luxurious. Jonelle enjoying some Hawaii Spring White. Lucky you. That is a Friday night treat for sure. Yeah, Bitcoin the dog is a bit of a attention grabber. He loves the attention, but don't let him fool you. You know all he wants is treats. That's all he ever wants is treats. Well, Tea's Magic, thank you for just putting that out there. Tea Sleuth, did you see that? Did you see that tea that just got spilled in chat? Oh, you find it a laughing matter. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's it. Tea's Magic, that's exactly the genesis of the research that Lawrence put out, because Lawrence wanted to break down a lot of that misconception, a lot of it fueled by that specific individual that you mentioned, that attaches unnecessary dogmatic reverence to tea service when tea service is frankly not like that. I can call you Don? Okay. I didn't want to dox you. Yeah, but that's a very important observation. So yeah, Lawrence put out this paper where he explained that Gong Fu Cha was simply just a marketing term that was popularized by the tea shop owners in Taipei in the 1980s. And, you know, identifying that and talking about that does not demean this one bit. You know, like, in fact, like, honoring the true history. Oh, of course, I won't give your address. No way. No way. All right, so I got my second infusion going here. I'm just going to stack the two infusions. I got the big picture going on. Another example of the lack of perfection going on in this tea service. I'm not using a timer. I did not use a scale when I was measuring out the tea leaf to use. No perfection going on here. But reverence, but respect, what humanity, but empathy. Like, there's no shortage of those concepts, which is the juicy good of tea and tea culture. That is a delightful tea. Yes, Tea Sleuth identified that the proper term for this, instead of calling it Gung Fu Cha imperfection or imperfect Gung Fu Cha, is also called intuitive steeping. Intuitive steeping. Well, thank you. I love my cute dog. I love my cute dog. He brings me so much happiness, so much joy. So much. All right, so making that correlation between imperfection, right? So if we call it like imperfect steeping, or we can interchange that term with intuitive steeping, you know, we can do some elementary level inference there, you know, change some things around. What was that called on the SAT? I did terrible on those tests, but there was like a specific type of question on the SATs where they did that, where it was like, if this is to this, then that is to that, right? And you'd have to like make these inferences based on that information they gave you. So I'm doing that same shit with this. Well, that's right too. Don says, who needs a timer if it's good tea? It can't be bad. You never took an SAT? I took the SAT. I just found out that they're not requiring SAT test scores for college admission now. That's pretty monumental. That's a big deal, actually. But anyway, off topic. So interchanging the word imperfect with intuitive. I know that's a stretch, but I'm just doing it for this specific case. And I think doing that actually brings a lot of power. Oh, Jonelle, the you know, in the case of Hawaii Spring White, we practice like a 2-minute rule. If it's been on there, actually maybe even like a 2-day rule. Like if you find some Hawaii Spring White tea on the ground, and it's perfectly clean and ready to be drank, yeah, you've got to brew that. But Dawn. Jonelle, Dawn says, oh man, the tea gods are gonna bring the wrath. That's kung fu gung fu. Yeah, so I'm gonna make a stretch, and this is gonna be one of the takeaways. The first takeaway of tonight's talk is that imperfection is intuitive. Being imperfect is intuitive. You know, I think that could alleviate. Yeah, enjoy it, Jonelle. Enjoy all of it, every sip. And you know, that's why we use these tiny little cups. This is very common in Chinese tea service to drink from these small cups, because it really encourages you to sip. Instead of like, you know, like a standard tea mug, you know, they're gonna serve it to you in something this size and it's just like gulp, gulp, gulp. And it's like, you lose a lot of that mindfulness. It is a stretch, I know, but come on. Give it to me, Tea Sleuth. Give it to me. Let me have it. Let me have that stretch. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out alternative perspectives about how we can alleviate a lot of the stress associated with perfection. Because some of us, I'm raising my hand because I'm in this category. Some of us compromise things for the sake of perfection. And is that good? Is that good? I don't, you know, like, is that going to like get me closer to my best life? Probably not. Ideally, you know, if I let my perfection drive me, I would say, no, perfection is going to lead me to my best life. If I do everything perfect, everything is falling exactly into every line, then that's going to be my best life. I don't know, thoughts? You all have thoughts on that? Like, what is your perception on perfection? Is perfection something that you can easily turn on and off? I think so. I think that's a good thing. Like, maybe perfection's not all that bad. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing, let me see if she sent something else. But I'm looking forward to seeing what Kayla wanted to send about the link between perfection and white supremacy. I hold space for that. I'm gonna hold space for that. Here's a quote that she sent me in Messenger. We are busy all the time. We're busy holding pointless meetings, busy planning for next quarter, busy overthinking things, and not trusting our decisions. Intuition, right? That's it. Okay, all right. Eric, it may not be that big of a stretch. While supremacy loves that, white supremacy knows that when we're exhausted, we remain obedient. And when we're overworked, we tend to stay quiet. It rewards us for our silence, for not pushing back, for not questioning. Busyness doesn't serve us. Okay, so we can interchange. I think that's what Kayla was trying to imply when she sent this to me, that we can interchange the term busyness with perfection. That if we're constantly focused on perfection, and that's putting us in this constant motion of work, like we got to keep doing it in order to perfect it. We got to keep doing it in order to perfect it. It'll exhaust us. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with being exhausted, man. If you're getting exhausted growing your garden and taking care of your family and raising your kids and doing those things and you're exhausted, that's one thing. But if you're exhausted from trying to do something perfect to serve someone else, especially when it comes to your work setting, you know, when you're at work and you want to impress the boss, you want to like make sure that you keep elevating yourself on that ladder, you're going to exhaust yourself, which, you know, in the perspective of looking at the grip that white supremacy, or any kind of supremacy, we don't even have to say white supremacy, but just the concept of supremacy, it is empowered by obedience. It is empowered by people that are so exhausted that they don't think for themselves, they don't practice their intuition. I'm feeling very, hey, Kayla, I just read the quote that you sent me and kind of processing that about the idea of being exhausted and the power that it gives to others when we are exhausted. Yeah, I have heard that, Dawn. I have heard that argument. The body is not an apology. Someone else recommended another book because I posted something about intersectional feminism on my Facebook. And someone had mentioned a book of like an ex-tech, like Silicon Valley journalist, female woman, who ended up realizing her own flaws in internalizing misogyny and proliferating misogyny. And the title of her book was something similar, like, oh, the uterus is a feature, not a bug. And I think the concepts are very similar, that like when we create body shaming, when we create these complexes and these chips on everybody's shoulders, like another big one is on money, on poverty. You know, when we've created this chip on someone's shoulder that like they're not human enough, they're not good enough because they don't make enough money, they don't have enough stock investment in the stock market to support their retirement, that puts people into a position of exhaustion, into a position of obedience, of like, okay, I'll just keep working, I'll just keep doing this so I can become more human. So now I understand. So like, I guess talking about this side of the argument doesn't infer that perfection is bad. But it's just we gotta take control of our perfection and focus more on the intuition than on the perfection. And so yeah, Kayla, it's so funny. I don't know if T Sleuth is still here, but like he totally called me out that like I drew a parallel between intuition and imperfection, or yeah, intuition and being imperfect. That like those, you know, rather than focus on perfection, focus on your intuition. And Eric thought that was too much of a stretch. But your quote you sent me in the message was like totally like cemented that idea, that connection. Why am I doing shots of green tea? I'm actually get a big cup. UA, I just explained that. The reason why we drink from the small cups like this is because it encourages to sip and to savor and to be mindful with every sip. It's really fun. And you know, like I'm gonna continue to like re-steep this tea and fill my pitcher over and over again, and then I can refill my cup. It's okay, UA. I do have bigger cups. Sometimes if I'm just like Similar to like when I drink a cup of coffee first thing in the morning, you know, I do drink my coffee from a coffee cup, from a large size coffee cup. But then, you know, throughout, if I ever do tea like that, I'll do it that way. But it's like, it's more fun, it's more interactive, and it's a big part of the space holding element of tea service when you use these small cups and you're just constantly refilling them. Too much GABA oolong. There's never too much GABA oolong. It's great for you. You are twitching. Oh, yeah, you're, no. Psych. I'm twitching. You're funny, Don. You're funny. Okay, so we got a good comment from Reddit. They say, my intuition doesn't speak to me at times, unfortunately. Oh, Tea Sleuth, you're gonna, are you taking some fighting shots at GABA? Wow. Go for it. I want to see this. I want to see this ensue. Yeah, I drink coffee. Come on. Yeah, so that's powerful. So like, how can we actively encourage our intuition to take precedence, to become our main focus? So do you mind if you're still here, who is this? Racing? Tetra Racing? If you're still here, if you would like to expand on that, so like, if you don't find your intuition speaking to you, where do you find yourself in your head at those times? Okay, cool. Where do you find yourself? You know, you're obviously aware of it, right? If you just said that, you said my intuition doesn't speak to me at times, unfortunately. So you're aware of it. So if you're in this moment of awareness, like, what are you aware of? Like, what do you find yourself focusing on? Is it like anxieties or, I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. Like in my case, whenever I feel like my intuition isn't strong, when I'm feeling like my internal confidence is not strong, it's just overtaken by anxiety. So logical thinking. Yeah, logical thinking. Which, you know, last week the topic of social constructs kept coming up over and over again. So, you know, is this a point where we could say that logical thinking is a social construct? From my perspective, my experience, I would say yes. I would say that, like, a form of anxiety, of just like overthinking something, of like, and yeah, tea is great for that. Having like a daily active tea practice is really great for that. So I mean, that's my pitch for tea. Whoop, whoop. Drink tea. You know, like chemically, tea's got a lot of good stuff in it that will help relieve those anxieties and just help clear your thoughts. So there's L-theanine in tea. The Camellia sinensis plant, all tea comes from this plant, is the only bioavailable source of L-theanine in the world. L-theanine is like the top nootropic supplements right now, and it's like gaining in popularity big time, where people are taking these like supplement pills that are essentially the L-theanine and the caffeine that have all been extracted from the tea plants. And what theanine does to your body with the caffeine is that it creates a mental focus and a body relaxation. So it'll relax your nerves, and then it'll help you clear your thoughts so that you can just focus on one thought at a time, and ultimately will empower your intuition. So much love to you. Much love to you. Thank you for the hugs. Thank you. So if so, you're asking for a recommendation of tea from grocery. Generally grocery tea is going to be limited in that L-theanine. But things are getting better. Things are getting better. Where I do recommend to get the tea, and this is not just because you can get better quality tea, but it's more so in that if you go to a tea shop, and you said Publix, so if you said Publix, I'm guessing that you're in Oregon, right? That's Oregon, right? And there's a shit ton of tea shops in Oregon. There's like a really strong tea culture in Oregon. If you go to a tea shop, you're gonna like get access to better quality tea, which in turn is going to have higher theanine and gonna taste better. But in addition, the tea shop is going to have this experience where you get to, oh, it's in Florida. I'm sorry, yeah, I completely forgot. So in Florida, are you in Miami? Because if you're in Miami, you got to go to JoJo Tea. The JoJo Tea. JoJo, he's got like a tasting room. I forget where he moved. He just moved his tea room. He used to be in Coral Gables, but he just moved. He sources tea through our platform, so I know for a fact he's got a lot of good tea. Okay, so you're in Orlando. Miami is crazy. You're right. Like, talk about like anxiety and like craziness to not focus on your intuition. But my buddy there, he's doing a great job holding down the mindfulness community and mindfulness activities, and of course the tea parties. Yeah, I don't know anybody in Orlando, unfortunately. And like when I say tea shop, if you're gonna go to Google Maps and look up tea shop, they're gonna give you some businesses. They're gonna say, oh, here's some tea businesses, here's some tea businesses. But they're all gonna be like bubble tea or boba tea. And that's not the same. And I'm not here to badmouth boba tea. It's great. It's like a milkshake. I love milkshakes too. But that's not tea. That's not tea. There is something as a tea shop, and they're incredible places, and there's usually the people that run the stores are usually like super friendly and just like want to introduce tea and teach about tea and get you excited about tea. Really great places. I don't know of one in Orlando. If anybody else in chat knows of a good tea shop in Orlando, I'd love to recommend to our friend here. Yeah, I'm a tea expert. Or kind of. I don't know. There's not like a certification, but I know a lot about tea. I drink a lot of tea. I travel all over the world for tea. I import tea. I distribute tea. I stream about tea. Yeah, you're right. There are so many varieties and different processing methods. And it's all coming from that one plant, that Camellia sinensis plant. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Hell yeah. I like that talk. Yeah. They should make a new version of that song of my boba tea brings all the boys to the yard. Yes, Eric, I drink tea. Valencia on Reddit says milk oolong brings the boys. That is so freaking true. Oh my god, that's so funny because like if I ever get like a group of bros like coming into the tea room and they never had tea before and like they're coffee bros, they're like, I just drink coffee, like I don't drink tea. The tea that is guaranteed to get them like excited about tea and wanting to taste more and getting excited about tea like how they get about specialty coffee is milk oolong. And they like all right guys, it's Friday night, you're allowed, we're getting frisky in chat tonight. Oh, you don't like the boba tea version? Aww. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. There is no school for becoming a tea expert. Actually, there are. Like, if you go Google, you'll find tea schools. You'll find places that will sell you a tea certificate. Some of them are even bold enough to say, you're a tea master after a 2-week online course. None of those programs are internationally recognized, so I'm not endorsing any of those programs. I don't encourage any of those programs. If you are interested in becoming like a tea professional or like diving into the tea industry, I don't recommend those. I do recommend, though, just drinking lots of tea. So just like our other friend had mentioned how interesting tea is because there's so many varieties, processing methods, terroirs. That's how you're going to learn about tea, is just by drinking them. I think in some time we will see proper education programs that are internationally recognized. And I'm putting a lot of work towards contributing towards that goal, because it's a goal of mine that like we create legitimately educated people around tea versus just like a marketing label, like that tea master certification. But I did go to university. I do have a recognized degree in food science. So it's not specific to tea, but it is like food industry science, which is a multidisciplinary science that covers food safety, product development, food regulation, sensory analysis, which covers like aromas and the science of aroma and volatiles. And then, of course, like engineering and microbiology. So, like the specifics about how a food factory operates and how you process things and heat exchangers and all of that. And I worked in the food industry for 4 years after university. I love food. That's why I studied it. That's why I wanted to work in the industry. But like going from being like someone who loves food, someone who loves to cook for their friends, someone who just like loves the whole food culture, and to working for big food, I was like so fucking jaded so fast because I felt like I wasn't feeding people, I was poisoning people. Because you see behind the curtain, and you're actually the one responsible, right? Not only do you see behind the curtain, but you're the one like checking off and like testing, which preservatives you should use or which chemicals you could use, and checking the FDA regulations to make sure that it works. So I left that, and I ended up joining the Peace Corps, and that was like a big event in my life that totally changed my whole experience and perspective on everything, and put me on the path that I'm on now, which is why I'm much more excited about working with the soil, working with the farmers, and seeing food as much more than just what's called post-harvest, which is, most food industry, it's like the farm is completely disconnected from the food industry. And I think it's much more important to like focus on the roots, focus on the soil and all of that. Yeah, I loved the Peace Corps. The Peace Corps is actually not operating right now. Since the pandemic started, they like pulled everybody out of their posts, which is unfortunate because the Peace Corps is an incredible experience. Like last week, we were talking about intercultural experiences and the value that those types of experiences bring to our capacity for empathy, our capacity for intuition, and just for survival. And you can't do that right now. But I did love the Peace Corps. You love coffee. I want to get into tea, but I'm so used to the super bold flavor of caffeine of the coffee has. So I recommend. Okay, so were you the one that asked the question about which ones do you, for coffee lovers, which ones? Oh, milk oolong. So, but that's unrelated. Milk oolong is just a sexy tea. It's just got like a sexy aroma that just like seduces you immediately, which coffee lovers like. But if you are a true coffee lover and you love like the strong, like nutty, roasty element of coffee, then I recommend roasted teas. So there are like roasted oolong teas that are like roasted after the processing's done. And some of them can be like really highly roasted, really deeply roasted. There's one tea in our catalog that we work with called Dark Roast Tea Guanyin. And for, so I mostly do wholesale distribution. So like I'll sell to a tea shop or to a coffee shop or to a tea business. I'm not really selling directly to consumers, so don't worry, I'm not trying to sell tea to y'all. But like a coffee shop will come in and the baristas will say, we want to elevate our tea game. We don't want to have tea bags anymore. We want to have loose leaf, good quality tea. But like we cater to like a very passionate coffee loving community. And some people trying to get into coffee or into tea, or what's really sad for a lot of coffee lovers is they realize that coffee, like the astringency in coffee or the acidity in coffee, or maybe even the caffeine in coffee is has become too rough on their body. And so like for health reasons, they have to stop drinking coffee or at least reduce the coffee consumption. And so yeah, these like highly roasted teas. Yes, Jonelle suggests the Black Pearl. That's another one that has like a really deep, rich maltiness to it. So like high degree oxidation oolongs and high degree roasted oolongs are a really great option for someone who's transitioning from specialty coffee into specialty tea. And then there's like gateways from there. Then you can do like maybe a lower degree oxidation oolong that's still got a roast on it, like a yangcha or something, or like a dansang. And then that can start getting you into the realm of green teas and white teas, which, you know, a white tea like this is super light. This is super light and mellow. A coffee drinker may scoff at this and say, what? Like, I need something big. They may have trouble with something like this. But actually, the thing that's deceiving about teas like this, like when they're good quality, even if it's a white tea, it's thick. Like you can kind of see that. You can kind of see how thick this is, how rich it is. And it's like the mouthfeel like really coats it and really, you know, it feels great. It feels awesome. It feels like substance. Dawn recommends Puara Tea for coffee lovers. I think that's another great option for coffee lovers, especially like coffee lovers and wine lovers who are really excited about the experience of like of depth and earthiness in the things that they drink. Because Puara, what's unique about Puara Tea? There's a lot of things unique about Puara Tea, but like for me, when I explain it to people and introduce Puara Tea to them, is that the tea leaves that they pluck for making the tea come from trees that are grown from seed that have been allowed to grow wild, which grow really deep roots. Like when you grow anything from a seed, it grows a tap root. And specifically with the Camellia sinensis plant, that tap root will grow just as deep as the tree is tall. So, you know, it's like reaching the minerals and the earthiness and the power, the energy from deep in the earth. That comes through in the tea. And so that has a big impact on the flavor. Like, you know, people will say that pu'er tastes like dirt. Like, that's why. And dirt can taste good, right? But more than just the taste of dirt or earth is feeling the power of the earth, the chi. Hey, Bin Boys. It tastes like clean dirt. That's right. Rich, delicious clean dirt. Hello, new friends on Twitch. Thanks for coming by. I am a no, there's no bin. I hope you all are being friendly. I mean, welcome to my channel. This is your first time here. There's no bin. I could show you something interesting, though. I guess I can show you something interesting that's kind of like what you're asking for. But there's no teabagging on this channel. Teabagging is like a disgusting habit that you should leave in college. No teabagging right here, okay? We only drink loose leaf, good quality tea around these parts. And another very important rule of this channel is there is no sexualizing me or anybody else, okay? That's like a one strike you're out rule. I'm pretty strict about that one. But yeah, yeah, no tea bags. Hey Rabbit, how you doing? Yeah, but I'll show you. I'll show you the. I'll show you the spent leaf. So this is my tea tray. This is where I'm brewing my tea right now. You can see my hand. The tray has a tray underneath it that collects all the water that spills down. And this is all the spent leaf. So you see any tea bags here? No tea bags. Just spent tea leaf. Just spent tea leaf. Right? Do you like that? Yeah, this is the closest thing I've got to. This is the closest thing I've got to. All right, cool. You want to see all my spent leaf? all the tea I drink. Let's put the spent leaf down there. It's kind of a bin. You're right about that. So are you asking about this figurine, or are you asking about this one? I'll show you all of them. This is my tea fairy. She's kind of cute. This is a Playmobil like toy figurines in the front. Oh, you're talking about this one? Or this one? Or this? Or this one? This is a dog. This is a dog tea pet. It's cute. It's cute. Ducks sit oolong. Yeah, so this thing right here, this is the music that we're listening to is all produced by this artist. His name is Sojourner. He's based here in Las Vegas, Nevada. This one, this is a dog. It's a dog. You want to see a real dog? Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. Come here. He's back. He took a little nap and he's back. This is Bitcoin. That's Bitcoin. It's a real dog. You know, we do not have recycling bins in Vegas. He doesn't have any bins. No recycling. Las Vegas is kind of a weird anomaly because we don't have recycling. It's actually quite a large city now, and there's no recycling. Yeah, you can spell it Puer, P-U-E, or P-U-R-H, or no, P-U-E-R or P-U-E-R-H. Either way. What? Bin boy. I don't like that. I don't like that kind of behavior. Don't be throwing bottles into the river. I bet. Yeah, hopefully you kept everything clean. We're respectful to to the hotel you were staying at in Vegas. Jonelle, so yeah, Jonelle's got some good advice for the spent leaf. If you are going to be collecting it in some kind of bin, you can use it to compost in your garden. Tea makes a really great compost. Really beautiful, rich, nice aroma. Really, you're going to do this again? Come on, boy. Stay down. Stay down. I invited you up here to hang out. You can say hello to everybody. Well, congratulations on your internet. So I got a cool question from Reddit. They ask, what are some of your favorite exotic or rare terpenes? You know, I don't have any favorite terpenes. I'm not like a terpene buff. I know a lot of people are getting really into it. What's yours, Pappy? Pappy. What's your favorite terpene? All of your houseplants smell of tea. That's great. You know what I find like tea compost to smell like over time is like tropical fruit, like guava. Smells like guava. Hey, Kokoti, welcome. So, Pappy's favorite terpene is linalool. Linalool. That's a fun. That sounds relaxing. Like just saying that name sounds relaxing. I like that one. Where is it found? I mean, I guess I can look it up. I'll look it up right now. You guys got a little bin exchange going on? You like matcha? That's awesome. Yeah, matcha's super good. Matcha's really high in theanine. It's probably like the highest in theanine of all the types of tea that you can drink, which helps with relaxation, mindfulness, intuition, which is what we're talking about today. We're talking about perfectionism or perfection and like how the counter of like being obsessed. Hey Jory, good to see you. Thanks for coming in and saying hello. The opposite of perfection would be, or being obsessed with perfection, which can like hold us down. You know, it can create anxiety, it can create problems. But the opposite of that is intuition. Oh, it's in lavender. That's it's found in lavender. Found in over 200 plants such as citrus fruits and lavender. Concentrations of linalool over 200 ppb have been shown to give a fruity aroma to beer. Bitcoin, you're just gonna create your own. Yeah, that's great. Citrus. All right. Did our bin boys leave? Are you guys still here? I'll give you a big bowl of big bin of linalool to chill you the fuck out. All right, Dawn, I want to hear your. I just got like the greatest question from Reddit, and I want to hear your opinion on this. You're gonna get a giggle out of it, I'm sure. Pappy asked, "What's your thoughts on monkey-picked tea? Scam? Animal abuse?" Yeah. It's true. So like back in the day when, you know, like tea marketing was first picking up in China, because you know tea wasn't always like this ubiquitous thing in China. It's yeah. Tea was not always like this a ubiquitous thing that everybody drank in China like it is now. For a long time tea was like exclusive to just certain people. What? Did you hear that little noise he just made? What the heck? And so like when marketing of tea first started like getting popularized, they would come up with these terms like monkey picked is one of them, which then like people didn't understand, and it was just like a grade. It was just like a fancy name that they gave to like note a certain grade on the tea, that it was like somehow like a certain higher grade. There's no significance to it. There was no truth to it. You know, like I've heard several different stories of where that specific name came from, of like the origin of someone starting to use that term monkey picked. But it's funny because modern tea marketers, specifically Tivana, they just grabbed that name, and some marketers have even like created their own stories about how it's actually true. But it was never true. It was even back in the day when that was like a common marketing term for tea, they didn't. I saw a funny joke though. I mean, that's why you call it animal abuse. I saw a funny joke. A tea blogger wrote or published an article where they explained that all the monkeys went on strike. They went on strike, so there's no longer any monkey picked tea because they all went on strike. Yeah, Bitcoin's the sleepy boy. He's like about to fall asleep right here. He's so cute. You legit thought that tiny primate hands were handling the tea. So there were some other terms used. At one point, there was somebody using the term like virgin picked, and they like proliferated this story that like beautiful virgin not maidens, but like beautiful virgins were the laborers, and they were like plucking the tea and placing the tea leaves in their bosom. You know, so there was some kind of value to the tea because of that. But that was also not true. That was also not true, and also not sanitary. No, I don't remember that. You're welcome to explain it. I don't remember that, Bum David. If you'd like to enlighten us on that. Yeah, I've heard that too, Dawn, that like they will some modern tea marketers will say, oh, the tree is really old and really big, and the only way to harvest the tea is to train the monkeys to go up there to pick the leaf. But yeah, it was just a grade. It was literally just a grade. And back in the day, there was an understanding of that grade. But now that understanding has been lost, and some marketers have created a whole new... Look at, he's like straight up just sleeping. He's like... Oh, I don't remember that skit. I love Saturday Night Live. I'll have to look that up. Is it like a monkey that you keep in the trunk of your car to like attack someone that's trying to steal your car? Is that what it is? Yeah, he literally came up here so that he could like cuddle me and take a nap. What a baby. And he's like an old dog already. He's no baby. He likes to act a baby. I guess it is, yeah, so it's the monkey in the trunk that takes care of your car don't get stolen. Oh, that was fun. It seems, yeah, we had some Twitch bin trolls come for a second. They weren't that bad. A little obnoxious, but not that bad. Not that bad. Yeah, so yeah, there is a monkey shit coffee. I don't know if it's exactly a monkey, but it's some type of like monkey rodent thing that eats, like it's in Indonesia or something, and it like... So this is what you want to do? So I've actually heard, you know, it's like really popular thoughts that lavender, the terpenes in lavender are calming, right? But then I came to learn from some herbalists that it's actually really kind of awakening. It's a stimulating terpene that'll actually stimulate you. I don't know. Yeah, Bitcoin loves you too. Ah, that's funny. That's a fierce monkey. That's a fierce little trunk monkey taking care of taking care of your car. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. That's funny. Thanks for sharing that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I just had some trolls on our Twitch channel. They didn't cause too much trouble, but that's why I'm a little on edge. I thought that, yeah, look at this. Right? Isn't that gorgeous? It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. All right, I'll look it up. I'll look it up. That'll be fun. It's clinically false. Is it clinically false that the terpenes in lavender are not stimulating? Is that what you're trying to say, Don? I believe you, Don. I just heard it from some random herbalist one time that was, you know, trying to say that a lot of people are using lavender as this calming thing when in fact it could be actually like stimulating the body. Oh, it depends on your body chemistry. Okay, cool. So maybe that's what they were trying to say. Yeah, this is the tea. This is a white tea. A really thick, rich white tea. Beautiful. I'm feeling the energy from it for sure. I need a trunk monkey. But I got a hatchback. I can't, it's like, it's kind of hard to hide the monkey. It's kind of hard to hide the monkey in a hatchback. It's kind of a backseat monkey at that point. Oh, Yoda, like tea, I do. Yes, there is a fellow. That's funny, Dawn. So Dawn is in the Twitch channel. If you're interested in meeting Dawn hangs out in our streams a lot. Really nice tea friend. That's the Twitch channel. Tealet Tea. That's the handle there. Tealet Tea. Or you can simply just go to tealet.tv. I've got that redirected to our Twitch channel. That's the chat that Dawn's hanging out in. Yeah, Dawn is an herbalist, tea enthusiast. Yeah, you're an herbalist. You're a proper herbalist, I believe. I could call you that, right, Dawn? He's always got a lot of cool insight of herbs and such. Yeah, it's a weird thing, you know? Like, I think that's probably true of all terpenes, is that it's dependent on your body chemistry, and everybody's body chemistry is unique. So to make these overarching, especially health claims, like in the cannabis industry, it's become really popular to make very specific health claims about different terpenes when they could be true for some people and not true. I don't know, Dawn, am I far off field by saying that? I'm not too sure. Some people it will stimulate, but that other people will be stimulated by most things that would be calming. Interesting. Cool. So I guess that person that was educating me was like introducing an alternative viewpoint that. Oh, Dawn is also a French clinical aromatherapist, so that's legit terpene knowledge for sure. Oh, the little tuckered out pup's name is Bitcoin. His name is Bitcoin. Yeah, he's a sweetie. He went back to go take a nap on his couch. You're right. Yeah, so Pappy says, you won't believe how often a clueless bud tender misinforms customers. Yeah, that's crazy. You know, you think about like pharmacists. Like if you want to be a pharmacist, you've got to go to school for a really long time. You're practically a doctor. You're practically a doctor. And the reason why is because a lot of people get their medical advice from their pharmacists. Like, you know, they're just going to go to the pharmacist and ask about something. Like, I heard that happens often. And so the same thing is true of the bud tender, because cannabis, for good reason, has been positioned as an alternative medicine. For good reason. I'm not talking smack on that. Like, that is truth. I believe that it's very powerful plant medicine. But it's like bud tenders don't get educated like a pharmacist does. And they're kind of in a similar position where people that are seeking out alternative medicine, they already don't trust their doctor. They're looking for an alternative. That puts a lot of responsibility on the bud tender to know like what they're talking about and knowing what to recommend, because there could be like unknown science behind prescribing the wrong terpene or the wrong medicine for a patient. The bud tender is just trying to make a sale and get on with their work day. Any bud tenders here want to share their opinion on that, their experience with that? Like, I'm sure that there are some bud tenders that go above and beyond of researching and being a great bud tender, but like, what's the reward for that? It's not like you're going to become like a bud doctor or something, you know, like, or you're going to like, I mean, maybe you will like gain good favor with management and more chances of like promotions or whatever, but at the end of the day, like a bud tender is a bud tender and they're all going to get paid the same amount. And then tipping, right? So that could be one thing. Bud tenders get tipped. So you could say a good bud tender that gives good advice is going to get tipped better. But the tipping happens at the time of purchase. The tipping doesn't happen. It's not like the patient takes the product home, consumes it, experiences some kind of healing from it, and then goes back to the dispensary to tip the bud tender. They tip right there. So like the bud tenders that get tipped are the ones that like exude a confidence, exude a knowledge, and makes the patient feel comfortable of like, oh, this person really knows what they're talking about, when they could just be, you know, mindlessly giving out incorrect information. Yep. Yeah, there's no incentive for a bud tender to be a great bud tender. And then like even if a patient does take a product home, consume it, and realize in that experience that it didn't work for them, it like made them less well, when they call the dispensary to complain, they're not going to complain about the bud tender. More than likely, they're not even going to remember the bud tender's name. It's just going to be like, I came to your dispensary and I bought this. So like the bud tender is pretty much off the hook of making any kind of like responsible recommendations. So the dog walker, sorry I called you the dog walker, but a dog walker that's, or a dog, what can I call you, like, a dog worker or a dog companion, a professional dog companion? I don't know, I want to, like, attach some more respect to your work other than just a dog walker. But Bum David says, you saw a pity take oil. I'm guessing that's CBD oil. And it almost instantly stopped its seizures. Pitbull was fully on shaking seizure, and the THC oil stopped it. Oh, so there was THC. It was probably like a 1-to-1, yeah. Oh, caretaker. There you go. That's the proper respectful term. Thank you for that. It went from near tears to happy. Oh, that's a great story. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, no, there is. Like, I've heard lots of first-hand account of the power of cannabis, even for animals. I got some like CBD treats for Bitcoin. I don't use them often because they work. they work like fast. They like knock him out. They just like relax him the fuck out. Like more relaxed than what he was here, falling asleep while I was carrying him. But I used them one time and they were really effective, and I was like really happy with it when I took him on his first airplane ride. I was really worried. I mean, he's really great. Road trips, car rides, being around new people, like his whole life he's been exposed to that. But I'd never taken him on an airplane. And, you know, the altitude change, and I just didn't know how to affect him. And so I just like wanted to make sure he was like calm and peaceful the whole time. And I just used these like CBD little dog treats. And he loved them. I mean, he loved the taste. He loves treats, so he was just stoked to be eating treats. And just immediately after he like bit into the treat, it was like, I'm sleepy time. It was great. And yeah, the flight ended up being a really great experience for him. So Don here on Twitch says that he got certified in cannabinoids and can tell most bud tenders only give you what they like or will what get you super high. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because it's usually like what they like, right? Because that's what they're gonna be like more passionate to tell you. You know, it's like the strains or the products that they really like. Those are, you know, if you go in there and ask for a recommendation, that's what they're gonna tell you. I didn't know that about you, Donnie. That's great. We should talk about that more often. We don't have to, but we can. We can talk about that more often. We can. Hello, Rooster. What's up, Rooster? Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for joining us at the tea table. We've been talking about a lot of stuff. We've been talking about a lot of stuff tonight. Specifically, the topic is on perfection. I'd love to hear your thoughts on perfection. Like what it means to you. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Pappy says usually it's products that are just a hype on Instagram. Or whatever brand gives them the free lanyard or shirts or other swag with. Yeah, that's true. Bum David says they have a client with 4 dogs, a pro golfer, and you go there 3 times a day to feed, walk, set up, vet trips, and to take them. You give them their monthlies, basically everything an owner would do, I do. Caretake, and you're like a stepdog dad. Oh, that's sweet. Thank you for your work. I hope that you feel like you're dignified in your work. Like that's really important. Like that's what I wish for you. You know, like I can tell that you are passionate about the work. There's a big difference between being passionate about your work and being like confident in your decision to do that work, that you're like doing the right thing, and you're proud of the work you do. But it's different than being dignified in that, you know. And well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm happy to hear that, because like it's a big topic of conversation at my tea table here. I think it's really important that we should never sell ourselves short of like doing the work that we're passionate about and receiving the dignity that we deserve in return for doing that work. And one area specific where this is a constant theme, which is related to tea, is hospitality. You know, like a bartender or a chef can be very passionate about the hospitality that they offer, the concoctions that they form, the products that they make, and then the service, you know, the actual hospitality that they provide. They can be, I'm not saying they can, they are passionate about that work. Yet, where's the dignity? You know, it's a challenge. So that's what I wish for everyone in the world, everyone here in chat, anybody that's hanging out with us right now. Like, first things first, I hope you're doing what you're passionate about, and second thing, I hope you're being dignified in that. And if you're not, I welcome you to reach out to me. You know, like you do have a support system of people that love you, that want to see that dignity for you. It's a cultural thing. It's a long-ended goal. You know, it's not going to be resolved by tomorrow, but Sometimes it helps to just communicate that and to start that process, which actually with hospitality right now, the labor shortage that everybody's talking about, like that's it. That's totally it. Oh, so your last job was a bartender, and the dogs do beat bartending. Good. Yeah, so like the job shortage going on, like people not going back to work because they're collecting unemployment or whatever bullshit they want to say. That is like awesome that's happening right now, because it is like a powerful unorganized protest going on where people are finally like saying, you know, like it's not about the money why we're not coming back. It's like it's the dignity. It's like, why go back to a job where we don't feel respected, where we don't feel like our work is truly appreciated, and then we work crazy hard, crazy hours, crazy stress, crazy speed, and then, you know, what do we get in return? We get told that like we're too lazy sitting in collecting unemployment. Like, how rude is that? You know, so like I'm all for the service industry, you know, taking back their dignity, and I yeah, full support of it. And it is a recurring theme in the conversations that I have at the tea table here. Perfection is imperfect. Why is it imperfect? Why is it imperfect? Yeah, hospitality is a super like volatile job. Even if restaurants don't close down, like you said, the restaurant closed, like even if the restaurant stays open and doesn't close, like it's like almost assumed by somebody working in hospitality that they're gonna just find a job somewhere else. Like that there's such a high turnover rate. Like that's how it's done. Like if you ever want to like make more money, or if you ever want to like have a less shitty boss, it's like, oh, just get another job. Like there's so many jobs, and like, and even the companies themselves anticipate and expect this high turnover rate, which, you know, that's a big part of the lack of dignity in that field. So yeah, I think the dogs are definitely primo dignity in that respect. So thank you for sharing that with us, Bum David. But yeah, back to Rooster, your comment. So perfection is imperfect. I am very intrigued to hear more about what you think on that. And while you get your thoughts out in chat on that, I am going to introduce our first article we're going to read today. This was published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology in 2003. So a little bit of age on it, but I think it'll be fine. The title of the article is The Interpersonal Expression of Perfection: Perfectionist Self-Presentation in Psychological Distress. I have no idea what this article is about. Sometimes I do read these ahead of time, but I read the abstract and I figured, you know what, this is going to be good enough for our conversation. It'll at least like stimulate some ideas and some conversation here in chat about perfection and like the expression of perfection, which is probably just as important, if not more important, than our own like internal identity of perfection, which I think a lot of times that's what we focus on. Like when we are actually working on our perfection, like it's a very inward, internal process. Good night, Jonelle. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed your Hawaii white tea. Much love. Enjoy your weekend. Hope you and Chai have some great time outside. Of course, before it gets too hot. It's already getting pretty hot here in Vegas, but hope you both get to enjoy some beautiful time outside this weekend. Am I in a tent? No, but I am in front of a green screen because I am streaming online to Twitch and other channels. So yeah, I have the green screen so that I can share articles or pretend to be in a hot tub like I am tonight. Oh, you're in Reno. Cool. You know what's so funny is like people always assume that like because Reno and Las Vegas are in the same state that they must be super close, but they're really not. It always surprises people. It's like, oh, 9 hours? What? It took you 9 hours to drive to Reno? It's like, yeah. They're like, oh, you're in Vegas, you must go to Burning Man all the time. And it's like, no, it takes like 11 hours to drive there. All right, so Rooster says, maybe we people have it wrong with perfection. What if being perfect actually means being imperfect? Exactly. So the other term, this seems like a very kind of similar, I'm also doing a stretch here, but like earlier on in the conversation, I made the inference that the opposite of imperfection or whatever, like the opposite of a focus on perfection is intuition. And like intuition is actually really good because that's like self-confidence in you and your ideas and your actions versus like, you know, anxiety or other social constructs that may get in the way. And so this idea of perfection, or maybe what we'll learn in this article about like our presentation of perfection to other people, gets in the way of our intuition, or as you put it, that being perfect actually means being imperfect. Like not being hung up on perfect. Like what is perfect? Like being hung up on being perfect inhibits you from just being, which like being is freaking perfect. Like, or what does perfect mean? Actually, I'm always into like going to the dictionary. Let me look this up. I do this all the time. It's pretty valuable. It's like, it's totally not an elementary. You can make fun of me if you want, but like, I think it's actually a very great way, civilized way of opening discourse and having conversations is just like referencing the dictionary. So I'm in Merriam-Webster dictionary, and the definition of perfect, there's a lot here, so we'll read all of them. The first one is being entirely without fault or defect, flawless. Okay. Satisfying all requirements. Okay. Corresponding to an ideal, standard, or abstract concept. Okay, so I think this is where like the social construct, like the perfection, the interpersonal perfection presentation comes in, because you're trying to meet some kind of standard versus just being without fault or defect. Which faults or defect has nothing to do with someone else's perception or societal constructs. Like that's just, it's like truth, it just is. Legally valid, faithfully reproducing the original. Okay. Another definition, expert or proficient. So this is related to the statement of practice makes perfect, which is interesting. Expert, which is funny because in this title I call myself a tea expert, which that's not any kind of like certified proper title. It's just something easy I put. I know a lot about tea. You're welcome to ask me about tea. I'm more than likely going to be able to answer that question about tea. But I'm not perfect at tea. Like practicing tea has not made me perfect at tea. So I kind of don't like that definition. But anyway, so in the third definition, pure or total, lacking no essential detail, complete, obsolete or sane, and then absolute or unequivocal. That's an interesting definition. Pure or total. Obsolete, mature. Of, relating to, or constituting a verb form or verbal that expresses an action or state completed at the time of speaking. Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah. So there's a lot of definitions there for us to choose from. I like to be primal. I like to think in primal terms. So, I'm personally, in the context of this conversation we're having tonight, will look more at the definition of like completeness, pure, total, just being. right? So then that brings a lot of meaning to your statement, Rooster, that being perfect actually means being imperfect. It just means not giving a fuck and just being, because you're perfect the way you are. Right? Am I off base? So hey, is this the Buddha? Dawn, is this the Buddha, the Buddhist? Hey Jesse, good to see you. Hey, welcome. Happy Friday night. Good night, Dawn. I hope you have a good rest. Enjoy. Is this the retreat you're doing? You got a retreat this weekend? That's great. I hope you have a great time. I hope that it is. Oh, thank you for the follow, Olive. Thank you. Oh, Bitcoin's excited. He's running over here. He's like, what? Olive, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the tea table. Welcome to the tea fam. Yeah, we're having a nice, healthy conversation tonight about perfection. What is perfection? Do I like chamomile? Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I do like chamomile. So chamomile. I'm not trying to like be perfect here, but just awareness about the concept of tea and the word tea. Yes. We're in a hot tub tonight. I'm streaming from a hot tub tonight. I'm just trying something new, Jesse. Well, I hope you have a successful retreat, Dawn. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, contributing to the conversation. Oh, Olive! No! Why you have to do this, Olive? Man, I thought we were going to be good friends. I'll give you a chance. But, I got a strict rule here. And I don't, this is why I'm going to give you a chance. Because I don't know your intentions behind what you just said. But we have a couple of rules around here. One of the rules is no teabagging. No tea bags, no teabagging. That's like a nasty habit. Leave it in college. We don't need it here. And the other very important rule is no sexualization. You don't sexualize me. You don't sexualize anybody else in chat. And so your comment you just made, I don't feel good about it. And I'm communicating that to you real quickly. But I'll give you a chance. I don't know your intentions of what you said. You may have been making a joke about the hot tub streaming. But I'm just trying to reach a new audience tonight with the hot tub streaming from this hot tub. But yes, there's nothing sexual around here. Nothing sexualized, nothing sexual. Although we do talk about sex. We talk about sex, we talk about fertility, we talk about love, we talk about empathy, and we do talk about sex. So talking about sex and sex is not a no-no here. It's just sexualizing someone is a big no-no. I don't allow it. Yes, family friendly, Jesse. Yes. We should say Bitcoin friendly. It's got to be Bitcoin friendly. Oh, Olive, I'm gonna block you. I was so happy to have you here, but yeah, no room for that here. Sorry, bye-bye. Yeah, so what I was saying about tea is the term tea originated in China, the word cha. And so all the derivative of the word cha, shai, those are all related to the Chinese word for cha, which means, tea made from the Camellia sinensis plant. It's specifically, oh yeah, there is a lot of poop talk here. We are welcome to talk about poop, bowel movements, all of that type of stuff. And again, we could talk about sex, so don't worry, we could talk about sex, but just the second you sexualize me or someone else, or even Bitcoin, oh, how dare you sexualize Bitcoin? He's just so cute and precious. Yeah, that's a no-no, big no-no. But the word cha, when tea was moved to Europe via the Dutch traders, they somehow changed the word from cha to te. And so te, tea, like all of the words that you see around tea is the same thing as cha. And so that's any tea that is made from that Camellia sinensis plant. So when you make like an infused, when you make an infused like hot beverage with like something like flowers or herbs or something like that, it's technically not a tea. But I understand, you know, like we didn't have a tea culture in the United States for such a long time that, you know, when we started to enjoy, you know, hot infused beverages, the definition of tea kind of went to cover anything, you know, that was infused in hot water. But yeah, I do like chamomile. It's quite nice sometimes, especially with like a little bit of sugar or honey. Oh, it's nice. Lovely, lovely beverage. Hi, Nick. You've been taking a break from tea? Why is that, Jesse? Love to hear that. Bitcoin's a stud. Yeah, look at all these muscles. And he's like freshly bathed. He's freshly bathed today. He's feeling like, what? Oh, he's showing off now. He's showing off now. You can identify Bitcoin's studness without sexualizing him. Oh, now he just like he's taken over the whole stream. He wants to be the star of the show, huh? I knew that this was gonna come with doing the hot tub streaming, but like I kind of did it as a joke. You know, there are other streamers that are streaming non-sexual content to this category. So Nick, just to update you on why I'm streaming in this category and why I'm hanging out in a hot tub today, which my Steam, the Steam went out. I have Steam going back here, but there is like this controversial new trend going on Twitch where streamers, especially female streamers, women streamers, are utilizing Twitch to produce sexualized content from a hot tub, usually in like a bikini. And they were streaming in the Just Chatting channel. And some people were feeling like that was unfair because like the Just Chatting channel was getting overtaken with like sexual content. And so Twitch this week created a whole new category of streaming, hot tub and beach streaming. So like, I thought it'd be kind of funny to like stream to that category. But actually there's quite a few other streamers that are doing it. Like they're just like green screening themselves into a hot tub and doing like normal content just from a hot tub. So I'm kind of trolling the category. So it is not outside the bounds of Twitch's rules. So like Twitch does not allow like nudity. So like, yeah, like you can't be nude. You can't have like explicit sexual content, but you can have suggestive sexual content. Not to say that what I'm doing here is suggestive. It's not at all. I'm just trying to troll that category, which is like supposed to be all of the like suggestively sexual content of Twitch. So it's just kind of a joke. No, but you'll see the stream, you see the category I'm streaming into, like where you can put like just chatting or food and drink or the game you're playing. It's the category of hot tubs. Oh no, my computer is like crashing. I think it's my OBS that's doing that. Interesting. Bitcoin, come on, you're blocking the camera. You're blocking me to talk to chat. Come on, come here. Do you want a treat? Yes, that's what you want. I know that's what you want. Come here. Come here. This side. Come here. Come here. Yeah, come here. Come sit down. Sit down. looks like this web browser is about to crash. That's okay. You're right, yeah, they could have made an 18 plus category, and like, yeah, they can verify the age of users. But yeah, I've had a couple of trolls come in, and I had to just kick somebody out for not following the rules. It's okay, like nothing lost. Those trolls were trying hard. They were trying hard. There was something to do with bins. They just kept talking about bins. I didn't know what that meant. I guess because maybe I'm like in a hot tub bin or something. I don't know. But it's all for fun. It was just a joke. It was just a joke. All right, but I am, you know, reading an article. I am trying to do something studious here. But like, yeah, there's a lot of other streamers that are streaming to this category with non-sexual content. Like, it's just their typical content they usually would be doing, but they just like green screen themselves into a hot tub. So yeah, I'm just trying to troll the category. Just trolling the category. Okay, so here's the article. Let's get into it. We're talking about perfection, Nick. I'd love to hear your intuitive thoughts about. Okay, you're going on my lap. Okay, your intuitive thoughts about perfection. A concept involving the interpersonal expression of perfection, perfectionistic self-presentation is introduced. It is argued that perfectionist self-presentation is a maladaptive self-presentational style composed of three facets: perfectionistic self-promotion, i.e. proclaiming and displaying one's perfection; non-display of imperfection, i.e. concealing and avoiding behavioral demonstration of one's imperfection; and non-disclosure of imperfection, i.e. evading and avoiding verbal admissions of one's presentation or of one's imperfection. I'll say that again. Evading and avoiding verbal admissions of one's imperfection. Several studies involving diverse samples demonstrate that perfectionistic self-presentation is a valid and reliable construct and a consistent factor in personal and interpersonal psychological distress. It is argued that the need to promote one's perfection or the desire to conceal one's imperfection involves self-esteem regulation in the interpersonal context. So that's an interesting point of view. The perfection is much more than just the perfection itself, but it's also like having an insecurity about the imperfection. We're gonna beat this. We're gonna beat this whole problem by just focusing on our intuition and focusing on our confidence that, gosh darn it, we're just perfect the way we are. You know, I'll pull over the dictionary definition, which I'm always a fan of referencing the dictionary. And I really need to reboot my computer. Oh. All right, so this is Merriam-Webster. Perfect. Not perfection, but just perfect. The base definition of perfect, which there's a lot here. but the ones that I want to focus on in this conversation is being entirely without fault or defect. And then this other definition here, the third one, pure or total. Yeah, that's it. I mean, absolute. Which is just like truth, like the word truth. Like truth is perfect. Because it's just perfect. It just is. So being is perfection, right? There's other definitions of perfection here, which is where the social constructs get involved and like the psychology of what's being talked about in this article get involved. And that's like here, satisfying all requirements, corresponding to an ideal standard or abstract concept. That's where things start getting sticky and difficult. When we think of the word perfect as just being, you know, and you hear that all the time. You hear that like motivational speech all the time. Like, you're perfect the way you are. Well, duh. Yeah, because you are. You know, when you're constantly doubting yourself and constantly being inauthentic and not being full, not being, that's when you start being imperfect. You're perfect when you just are, when you're just breathing, when you're just sitting drinking tea. That's perfection. And so this article that we're reading today is more of talking about the psychology of some type of presentation of perfection. Interpersonal, so that's when it involves other people. When we leave our own self, you know, because a lot of people, myself included, and the reason why I'm talking about perfection tonight is because I was late to start the stream because I was like focused on doing something perfect, and ended up taking me like much longer time to do the task that I was trying to do because I was trying to do it perfect. I was trying to be a perfectionist. And it's funny because in that moment, in that work, it felt very internal. It felt like it was just me doing that work. But in actuality, an anxiety and a focus about perfection has to do more with our presentation to other people versus our own internal work. Jesse says, when I hear perfect, I think it's when something is done right. All right, that's a good definition. I could see that, you know, based off of what we just saw in Webster, Merriam-Webster's. That's legitimate, valid. But that's also a very subjective, open-ended concept of something done right. Because, like, from Bitcoin's perspective, doing something right is like breathing, drinking water when he's thirsty, eating food, sleeping, right? So we could think in very primal terms and constantly be doing something right, doing it right, just by being. We also could allow some type of social standard. Yeah, sleeping. Yep, you're doing it right. That's perfect. That's perfect. But we could also like freaking stress about all the standards that we feel like we need to meet up to. Like, I'm only doing it right if I have a savings account this large for the age that I'm at, working a job, making this much money, and doing things a certain way. And you easily could get carried away living your life following all of those standards. and saying, okay, I'm doing perfect because I'm doing all these things right. You know, or you can think on that primal level. And that's not to say that, like, you can think in both ways, that you can, like, be primal and just be satisfied in your perfection. Being satisfied with that perfection, of the simple perfection of just, like, living day to day. You know, sleeping, eating, breathing, moving. And then you also could be like, and I'm going to pursue this goal, and I'm going to pursue this goal, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. But then at the core of it, every night before you go to sleep, be like, today was perfect. I didn't suffocate. I didn't dehydrate. I didn't starve. Today was perfect. Or you can be in a state of anxiety all the time, being like, today was not perfect. I didn't get that promotion. I didn't, I didn't get laid on that date. I didn't, satisfy my parents with this thing. Oh man, I need to do better tomorrow. Tomorrow can be perfect. And it's like, gosh darn it. Tea followed you on Twitter. Today was perfect. Jesse, thank you for that. That's sweet. That's sweet and fun. I like this conversation. This is a lighthearted one. Last week's conversation was a little bit heavier, but it was perfect. It was perfect. The burgeoning research on personality and its influence on psychological problems has demonstrated that various personality traits are associated with various forms of psychopathology. These studies have underscored the importance of personality factors in psychological problems with the examination of broad traits such as neuroticism, and specific traits such as dependency, perfectionism, and autonomy. The conceptualization of personality in the literature focuses on content-related aspects of traits, i.e. the level of dispositions. And it has been suggested that such a static view of personality does not take into account the process by which traits may be involved in developing and maintaining psychological problems. Several authors suggested that expressive aspects of traits need to be distinguished from content aspects. And others have called for research that incorporates the interpersonal process components of personality and environmental influences in psychopathology. There appears to be, from several sources, agreement that although levels of dispositional variables are important in influencing psychological distress, the expression or process features of dispositional variables may be also relevant. The distinction between the content and the public expression of a trait is particularly relevant to an understanding of perfectionism. We maintain that perfectionists differ among themselves not only in terms of their levels of trait perfectionism on such dimensions as self-oriented, other-oriented, and socially prescribed perfectionism, but also in terms of their need to appear perfect to other people and not display or disclose imperfections in public. Indeed, we suggest that certain perfectionists are focused primarily on a form of impression management that involves self-presentational attempts to create an image of perfection in public situations. That is, certain perfectionists are committed to displaying an ideal public self that conveys an image of being flawless. This is in keeping with evidence suggesting that perfectionism and the ideal self are closely linked. And certain individuals have developed an ideal self with a public perspective in mind. As it is conceptualized, perfectionistic self-presentation represents indistinguishable facets of the perfectionism construct that have been studied thus far. The concept of perfectionistic self-presentation is useful in that it can account for salient differences among individuals with similar levels of trait dimensions of perfectionism. All right, Jesse, we'll be here. You're welcome to lurk. Thank you so much for saying hi, contributing to the conversation. All are welcome. For instance, consider two individuals who are both characterized by high levels of socially prescribed perfectionism, perceived requirements to be perfect on the basis of others' expectations. One individual responds to the imposed pressure to be perfect by becoming rebellious and resentful, and this person makes it clear to everyone that he or she has little interest in striving for perfection. Thus, the distress experienced by this individual involves a significant amount of anger and hostility. In contrast, the other individual responds to the imposed pressure to be perfect by trying to convince others that he or she is perfect, perhaps by trying to minimize mistakes made in public. That is, this second person is different in that he or she is actively trying to keep up appearances and live up to the unrealistic expectations imposed on the self by other people or by society as a whole. This person is different in that he or she has a stylistic personality trait that reflects the desire to appear perfect to others. This person is also high in the desire for approval and has a high level of public self-consciousness that is focused on being attuned cognitively to public situation and events that can be used to present the self in an ideal manner. This tea is still great. Still great. Bitcoin's perfect. Yes, you are a perfect little boy. By what standard? It doesn't matter. He's breathing. He's drinking water. He's eating food. He's eating lots of food. He's running around, getting some exercise. It's perfect. In this article, we provide an examination of the interpersonal expression of a putative vulnerability factor, namely perfectionism, by providing a conceptualization and empirical demonstration from a self-presentation perspective. Specifically, we suggest that there is an individual differences in the extent to which individuals are concerned with appearing perfect to others and with avoiding displays or disclosures of their perceived imperfections. Moreover, consistent with interpersonal models, we wish to show that there are both self-related and socially related maladaptive outcomes of this expressional style, and that these outcomes are not accounted for solely by trait levels of perfectionism or by related variables. Yeah, Nick, it is a mysterious dichotomy. But then, like, simple, easy, right? Like, easy. Like, there's no dichotomy. As soon as you... Yeah, it's a green screen. If you want to, like, hang out on the actual stream, you can go to tlet.tv, or the Twitch channel link is here. If you're a Twitch user, you know, come by the Twitch channel. It's really fun over here. It's super fun over here. TikTok, you guys are invited too. You all are invited as well. Guys and girls, come to the Twitch channel. Woo woo, come to the Twitch channel. Yeah, I stream 5 days a week. I only stream to Reddit on Friday nights, and I stream to TikTok on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Hi, Aisha. I love the name Aisha. Actually, that was the name that was given to me by my host family when I was in the Peace Corps in Niger. That was my name for 2 years. I love that name. It's a beautiful name, Aisha. What's your goal? You're one away from a goal? Like you need a follower? Is that your goal? Like what is it? What's your goal? Let me know. Maybe I can help you. I'll help out a fellow Aisha. Yeah, what's Nick? I'd love to hear your idea of this dichotomy. Like, why do you call it a dichotomy? That, like, at its core, perfection is something very easy. Just being is perfect, like, good. But then, when you take into consideration all the shit that's being said in this article, you realize, oh man, there's all this, like, social anxiety to be perfect, to, like, give off this presentation that you're perfect. Or constantly hiding your imperfections, which is only going to inhibit you from being perfect. That's the dichotomy, right? That's the ironic thing of it. That's the irony. Like, we're working so hard to be perfect that we're missing out on our chance to be perfect. Oh dear. And Kayla, our friend Kayla, brought up a very good point at the beginning of this stream, at the beginning of this conversation, that all of these, like, social constructs, social anxieties, like, they are ultimately internalized by us. They are our own doing. Like, we create them and control them ourselves. Yes, that is true. But they can be instigated, and they are instigated. The social constructs, like, they in themselves will instigate that internalization of feeling inferior, feeling some anxiety that you're not perfect, that you're not complete. And people in positions of power, and the example that Kayla gave us is the concept of white supremacy, which is a valid thing. Like, it's a valid thing. That the idea of perfectionism, the idea of constantly hustle, the idea of constantly achieving more worth through the accumulation of money is something that is holding us down, holding us oppressed. It is a tool for the oppression to happen. And I believe that. I mean, at first when Kayla brought that up, I'm like, oh, what is the linkage between perfection and white supremacy? And it was, she sent some articles, and it was interesting to see that perspective. Nick says, so in one sense, you consider perfect as describing an ideal. Yes. But ideals are a relative thing. Like, if we think in primal terms, an ideal, like, ideally, me as a biological being, ideally, the ideal for me is that I have a consistent source of oxygen available to me. That I consistently have a clean source of drinkable water. That I have food and sustenance available to me. Right? Like, we could go on that level and just focus on that level, and that's what I want to focus on. Or we can think of ideal of, like, oh shit, I don't have any Apple products, and I'm not, a great designer or great artist unless I have Apple products to work on. Damn it, I'm not perfect. And that's when all the psychological problems get involved. Something like that. Yeah, you're welcome to expand on that, Nick. Well, there's also an idea that one must keep themselves pure of the anxiety and pressure of being perfect to attain a universal level of perfection. Yeah, yeah, and that's it. I like universal things. I like primal things. I also like shiny things. Like, I think that there is a place for both. But to maintain your sanity and live that best life, maintaining the balance between those two ideals is the key. That ultimately, at the end of the day, before you go to sleep every night, what you think about of your like ideals and gratitude towards, dang it, my oxygen was there all day today. That was awesome. Pappy has a good question. I'm gonna derail the conversation for a second. Let's get back to the hot tub for the second. Pappy on Reddit asks, what is some of the nastiest pesticides you have come to hate to learn about? Being a food scientist and all. Well, here's the funny thing about being a food scientist. When you learn about these things, they are like romanticized to you. So when I learned about pesticides, when I learned about preservatives, when I learned about GMO, when I learned about those things in college, there was a very romantic tone delivered with that education. And I was young and impressionable, and I went with it. Like, I genuinely, honestly thought that pesticides were great, you know, because they optimized yields, they optimized efficiency. And even GMOs, when I learned about GMOs, I totally got romanced that this is some type of world-changing, incredible science. It wasn't until I was actually working with farmers, like working in the soil, and had I not joined the Peace Corps, I never fucking would have. I would have just kept, you know, on that romanticized path of this like God sent science of being able to like alter the genetics to create the outcomes that we need. But it wasn't until I lived among farmers and saw their daily struggles of, you know, soil that wasn't producing for them, and water that's not available. Like, this is not even just like water for irrigation, like water for the plants, but like water for them to drink, you know, in their community, like the people to drink water, because, you know, all of the herbicides that they're using, the chemicals that they use on the soil to kill all the weeds, have completely left the soil bare and exposed to the sun, which is weird, you know, that we never thought, oh shit, the sun is going to evaporate all the water from the earth. You know, because even in deserts, there's water underneath. Like, there's water systems. It's called a water table. It's there. I mean, that's like known since the beginning of time, that there's water under the earth. If you dig deep enough, you'll find water, right? Even in deserts, there's water under the soil. But like these places where agriculture is like a main use of the land, and there's this mentality of controlling everything with the use of chemicals and such. And the people applying those chemicals and creating those chemicals, they all went through that same education that I went through, where all of these concepts were taught in a very romantic tone. So yeah, my perspective on all that really has changed a lot. But I guess the one story, like in college, when it was told to us, was not romanticized and has already been demonized, and it's been demonized on every level, is DEET. DEET. Which, really isn't a pesticide that's, I think it is actually, fuck that. No, I take that back. It is used in agriculture, but like, the demonized story that we all heard was that like DEET is this like failure that we had in science where we thought we were playing God. We thought that we cured malaria, but then we ended up like polluting the water and like ended up causing so many more deaths and health complications than what malaria was causing for us. That was a sad story. And like in college, in my undergrad program, that story was told in a very sad way. How's this one, Nick? This is cool. I like this. When I'm sitting and like leaning against the table, it looks like I'm really in the hot tub. It's great. I love it. Yeah, I'll probably be on for like another half hour. Yeah, I've already been going for over 2.5 hours. So yeah, it's fun in the hot tub. Super relaxing. Really relaxing. I like streaming from the hot tub. Oh man. Good night, Nick. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for sharing some insights about perfection. I'm happy to continue this conversation with you. This is super compelling, like really really great things, especially for like a creative and artist, because I think perfection is something that like troubles artists to a great degree. My walls are green because I'm streaming in front of a green screen. In fact, I'm actually streaming from a hot tub. So if you want to join in the hot tub, come to Twitch. I stream to Twitch 5 days a week. I only stream to Reddit on Friday nights. Yeah, Nick, I look forward to seeing the thoughts that you process, and I'm happy that my stream could open some of those boxes for you. Some of those boxes. Yeah. Cheers. Have a perfect night. Rest well. Yeah, green screens are fun. You can go anywhere you want in the world on a green screen. Oh, Bitcoin? Did you meet Bitcoin yet? This is Bitcoin. He's a little tea dog. He's a little tea boy. He's perfect. Yes, you're perfect. He knows it. He knows he's perfect. Like, I'm just trying to take a nap. I'm just trying to take a nap. Yeah, there is a way that I could stream to Reddit through my computer. I could do that. But I kind of like streaming from my phone like this because then it gives you a vibe of like behind the scenes. Oh, good question, MB. Good question. Thank you for asking that. Okay, that's a big question, and it's related to tonight's topic. So tonight we're talking about perfectionism and being perfect, and like the social anxieties and the psychological issues that come from an obsession of being perfect, of perfection, right? And that for a lot of people that keeps them up at night, right? I fortunately have a very easy time letting go of those anxieties, and I believe that tea, exercise, and eating good food, like not eating healthy food, not dieting, no, like eating good food and like putting a lot of time into preparing the food that I want to eat, be it decadent or whatever it is, like cooking it from scratch, being like very much connected to it, helps me in like letting go of that every night before I go to sleep. But I do have trauma. I do have some trauma, and I'll admit, like, I'm privileged that like the trauma that I have is as easy or whatever, you know, but it is. There's still trauma there. All trauma is valid. I'm not trying to say that my trauma is worse than someone else. I'm like actively saying that my trauma is easy. But I have trauma around feeling a need to be perfect to my parents. My parents are very important to me. I love them very much. I respect them very much. And I want nothing else in this world than to make them proud. Like, that's a big thing for me. And like all parents, there's a really high expectation from them, right? Because like your outcome or your parents', you know, perception of your outcome of your success, I think that's like the core. Yeah, L-theanine, that's fucking it. Yeah, that's what helps me like sleep at night, because I can channel my thoughts into like one clear thought and like manifest myself or put myself into a state of meditation, you know, and then I can just like throw out all the other anxieties and thoughts and just like, all right, I'm gonna meditate, maybe think about what I'm grateful for the day, and then just be able to go to sleep and feel good. Yeah, L-theanine is huge on that. I'm drinking some white tea. I think the L-theanine on this must be very high. I'm feeling really good. You know, I've been streaming for close to 3 hours. Before starting the stream, I was feeling like really sluggish and tired, and a little bit unmotivated, to be honest. But now I'm feeling great. I'm feeling awesome, especially this conversation around perfection. I'm just like, I'm feeling very empowered. But yeah, I think that like the presentation of perfection to our parents is something that, you know, the article that I'm sharing right now is about our presentation of perfection to society, to like people around us. Like, what do they think of me? Like, am I perfect enough for them, or am I hiding my imperfections enough for them? That's one thing, and that can cause some very deep psychological troubles that can keep you up at night. But I think like to your parents, like if you value a strong relationship to your parents and making them proud like I do, that's like my biggest trauma. And again, I'll admit that is like trauma light, and I'm grateful that that's the extent of my trauma. But it's still trauma. You know what I mean? Like, and it's valid, and we need to hold space for everybody's trauma, regardless of how big or small it is. You know, trauma is trauma, and if it creates any kind of anxiety in you that you're not perfect enough, that you're not human enough, that you're not good enough, it's something worthy of being addressed and worthy of evolving. You know, I hesitate to use the word fixing, right? Because that kind of demeans it a little bit. Like, I don't like using that term in this context, but evolving, restoring, rehabilitating, those are words I much rather prefer using in that context. Thank you for that question, MB. That's a big one. You're welcome to share, like, if you're feeling compelled to share like what keeps you up at night. I'd be happy to hold space for that, and also happy to hold space for you not to share. It's your choice. It's my stream. I'm the one that's actively putting myself out there into this position of vulnerability. I'm grateful to do that, and I hope it can only inspire and help someone if they need it. Or not. It could just be freaking entertainment. That's it. Like, it could be pure entertainment, and I'm grateful for that too. So it doesn't always have to be serious, although it can be serious if you want it to be. If you want it to be. I keep boiling the water and forgetting about it, but I want to brew more tea. glad to see you here as well. Hi from Sweden. Happy Saturday to you. I'm still stuck in Friday. I'm good. I'm doing really well. I'm perfect today. I'm absolutely perfect. I've got an ample, endless supply of oxygen, at least for now. I'm aware that there's some finiteness to that. But I've got oxygen, I've got ample drinking water available to me, have really great friends here hanging out with me. I'm perfect. How are you today? How is it in Sweden? How is it in Sweden now? Yeah, today's topic is perfection. We are talking about perfection, what it means, and yeah, it's a dichotomy. I mean, it doesn't have to be a dichotomy. It can be very simple, just like how I said with the water and the oxygen and all the things that I need being there, being perfect. That makes it very simple when you think of it in that term, but it's also very easy to get wrapped up in the anxieties of being perceived perfect by others. And that's what I am reading about today in this fascinating article in the Psychology Journal from 2006. Research has shown that self-oriented perfectionism functions as a vulnerability factor in unipolar depression. Moreover, other-oriented perfectionism has been linked to marital and relationship difficulties, whereas a third dimension, socially prescribed perfectionism, has been associated with psychological problems, most notably suicide ideation, threat, and attempts. Oh yeah, drink that coffee. I wish you well on your hangover recovery, Bitcoin 2. Wee, get better. Drink water. Yeah. Hangovers definitely make you feel imperfect. Makes you question, should I have drank all of that? Should I have done that? That was fun, but should I have done that? Was that perfect? I know some of these words. Deeper thinker, that's funny. Yeah, these are like interesting words. Some of them are too, too far out there, but it's very serious concepts of mental health and how hi Tripod, good to see you. Thanks for saying hi. Yeah, no, we can just. I always regret it the day after. It's hard. It's hard having fun. It's hard having fun because then you feel so hungover the next day. I guess if you do it perfectly, you would what they say, drink 8 ounces of water in between every alcoholic beverage that you drink will help you not feel or not regret it the day after. I guess that's one example where an obsession with perfection is strictly internal and not it's not an anxiety that's dependent upon a presentation or a perception of someone else to you or of society to you. Take notes. Next time you go party, just have a little note in your pocket or in your wallet or on your phone. Maybe make it the back screen of your phone. It just says how to perfectly party. Drink 8 ounces of water between every alcoholic drink. Just that's perfection. I like that. That's seriously one example of a obsession on perfection not fucking with your head. Because everything else, it's how to party perfect. The things that would be toxic for you would be wearing the perfect outfit, having your makeup on point, being with the most good-looking person at the party, like. That's funny. You've heard that sun-theanine is better than L-theanine? I've never heard of sun-theanine. I'll have to look into that. I haven't. Deeper thinker, that's it. That's totally it. And that's for you, right? So that's great. You know, I'm talking to myself. Like, you don't have to, what do you call that? Project it on somebody else. You know, that could be your own. A protocol of perfection. Breathe. Drink water. Move. Think. Eat food. Don't forget to breathe. Yeah, if you party, drink water, drink tea. Have fun. And that's as simple as it goes. Like, once you start clouding it up with like all these insecurities of like, cover up all your pimples. They can't see your pimples. Put the makeup on just right to cover the pimple. It's like, like, that's so fake. That's so not real perfection. Real perfection is just being, just living, doing the things that you need to do to live. Yeah. Wait, what, deeper thinker? What do you got? What do you got? What tea is best for digestion? That's a good question. So actually, I was talking about this the other day with someone. There are a lot of health benefits around tea. And I usually don't like to talk about them because they're like lifestyle type of, oh, hugs to you too. Thank you so much, deeper thinker. I appreciate that. Bitcoin, give him a hug. Give him a nice big hug. Oh, we love you. Yeah, like the health benefits of tea are like long lead things. It's like only after a lifestyle of like having a daily habit of drinking tea are you really going to see the health benefits that people want to talk about. But with digestion, that is one. Like the L-theanine is one. Like you will feel it immediately. Like the first cup of tea you have, you're like, oh, that's L-theanine. I got it. That feels great. All right, I'm in. This is for me. I'm gonna drink tea. You know, things like weight loss or cancer prevention, like you're not going to feel that after the first time you drink a cup of tea. But digestion, that is one, especially around the processing of lipids or fat molecules. When you eat like a heavy, greasy, oily meal, like dim sum is a really good example, right? And dim sum actually in Cantonese it means drinking tea. Like the act of like going for dim sum with your friends, you know, the social activity of going for dim sum is more, it means drinking tea, and it's like these snacks that go along with the tea. And the snacks do tend to be very oily, very rich, heavy snacks. But like you never tend to leave dim sum feeling like bloated or like feeling really bad, and that's because the tea that you're drinking is helping you process that. And that's specifically oolong tea and pu'er tea, especially like show pu'er tea, like the deeper, richer, darker pu'er tea. But oolong tea more specifically, which is great because oolong tea tastes awesome. And it's really cool because like all tea comes from the same plant, so the Camellia sinensis plant. But it's like how you process the plant that you bring out all these different polyphenols or other compounds that have vastly different effects on our body. And so that's why they say like there's not like one single tea that cures all. It's like, oh, which tea is best for your health? Like I'll just buy that tea and drink only that one. Like there's not one of those. Like every tea has different properties to it, even though it comes from the same plant. And so that's kind of the fun thing about drinking tea as a health product is that like the most effective way is to like drink a variety. To like explore and have fun, like trying new ones and different ones. But like oolong tea specifically will help with digestion of fat, which in digestion, a lot of times that's like the biggest issue that we have, like general issue. Now, if you have something like celiac disease or lactose intolerance or any other type of like protein allergy, then your issue in digestion is a little bit different. But I do drink coffee every morning. I drink a cup of very rich coffee. I love like a really deep, beautiful cup of coffee. Espresso, or if I don't have espresso beans, because I do have an espresso machine at my house, like that's the way I prefer it, just like a double shot, just get the day going. Or I do AeroPress. I've got like Ethiopian beans, which they're not fit for espresso, but they do a really great AeroPress. I've got a friend here in town who sells our tea. He's a coffee roaster, and so I get all of my coffee from him. Super fresh, and then I get to support my friend's business, which is great. I love his coffee beans. Cafe de Paraiso, which if you're here in Las Vegas area, which is where I'm at, I definitely recommend his coffee. He sells at a couple of different farmers markets. I can let you know. You heard that green tea is hard on the liver. That's possible, but like any of the like articles, like scientific articles that I've seen talking about like high what's the one, like high aluminum content. I think there can be high aluminum contents in especially some green teas that can have detrimental effects on like the liver or other organs in the body. They found that you have to drink like shit tons of it in order to have that kind of effect. Like if you are just like a daily drinker having a cup of green tea, you'll never accumulate enough to damage. But like if you are like endlessly, it's a ridiculous amount of tea that you have to drink to get those negative health effects. But it's interesting how researchers do that. It's like, I think anything could be turned that way, that like if you overconsume anything, it'll cause damage. And then those things get published, and then people can, not calling it fake news or anything like that, but like people can misunderstand it and then spread that news, and then it turns into something that it was never originally meant to be. Oh, that's funny. No, I wasn't trying to insinuate that like your allergies are causing you to like tea. I don't think that tea helps with any allergy response. I don't think so, actually. That's what I was trying to say. I was trying to say that like if you have allergies, then your digestion problems will probably be niche, like, and it's not something that tea will generally help. But like in general, like general digestion problems usually are associated with like fat, like oily, when you eat something that's greasy, oily. Come on, think about Taco Bell. Like when you eat Taco Bell and you've got some problems, it's like the fat content in the Taco Bell that's doing that. It's the grease in the Taco Bell that's doing that to you. So you're not a hot drink person. You like cold water, cold tea. Oh, that you're not a fan of tea. I got that. Have you ever tried cold brewing tea? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm not that smart. You know what I am though? That's unique, and what I will take credit for is that like I'm vulnerable, and there's a lot of power in vulnerability. A lot of power. Thank you. Yeah, I stream every Friday night here to Reddit, so hopefully I'll see you again. I don't spend a whole lot of time on Reddit, like posting and commenting. I've done that. Been there, done that, and I got kind of worn out on actively hanging out in Reddit. But I do like streaming to Reddit because I get to meet really great people. Like I've found the live streaming to be like a really great place, like really supportive community that enjoys learning about tea and like really holds space for me. There's like a tea subreddit, and I used to spend a lot of time there. That was like my first exposure to Reddit, and there is some like toxicity there that was not welcoming for me. But I haven't found that on the live stream. I'm really grateful for it. I do like streaming here, but I do stream 5 days a week on Twitch at tealet.tv, or the link, if you want to see the link to the Twitch channel, is there, Tealet Tea, and that's like my handle everywhere else. So if you wanna stay connected on the other socials. But yeah, you're welcome to message me here on Reddit. I do check my messages and do check things, but I'm just like, I'm not like actively posting and commenting. Maybe in some of like the crypto subreddits, you know, I'll do that kind of stuff, but yeah, I just go to Reddit to like read news and such. You don't enjoy baths? You should push tea on everyone. Yeah, I do. That's what I do. You know, not because I'm just trying to sell my product, which, you know, I wish I could do that more often, but, you know, like, I just, like, want that organically to happen. But it's, like, the tea lifestyle, like, the lifestyle of being intuitive, the lifestyle of being confident, the lifestyle of not giving a fuck, like, I do want to push that on people, because that would help bring a lot of goodness to this world, I think. Not just here in the States, but all over the world. And there are places in the world, and I've been to those places, and they practice that. They practice this lifestyle. Like, there's certain places in China, they practice this lifestyle, and I just, like, it's so dreamy to me, because it's like, no one's giving a shit here. Like, they're living their life. They're, like, it's simple. They're not constantly, like, feeling like they're inferior to the rest of the world because they don't have assets and holdings and, you know, like, property. They're just living their life. They're drinking tea. They're not giving a fuck, and like, they are happy, and that's a good, you know, that's a good life. So that's what I'm trying to push on the world. That's what I'm trying to push on the world. But yeah, you should try cold brew. Not even just tea. You can cold brew coffee. It like gives a completely different experience from the product, and it really. A lot of what it has to do is, like, when you don't brew with a hot temperature, it extracts far less of the astringency and bitterness compounds. So really all you get is the sweetness and the aromatics, those terps, those terpenes. Tea is the bath lifestyle. Speaking of, I'm currently streaming from a hot tub on Twitch. I'm trying to take advantage of the new hot tub streaming category on Twitch. So I got the green screen here, and I'm streaming from a hot tub. It's good fun. I'm not the only one. I thought, like, when I thought of this idea, I'm like, oh, I should just like green screen from a hot tub, and then I can stream from the hot tub channel. And I went to go check out the channel right before streaming tonight, and there was like a whole ton of other streamers that are doing the same thing. So it's like we're all trolling that channel, because like that channel is brand new on Twitch. It was developed as a direct response to a lot of sexually suggestive content that was being put out to Twitch that was like pissing off streamers of like, hey, you know, like the sexy lady is like getting priority. How do you teabag in chat? Well, you like, I mean, using a teabag and teabagging, you know, which is a really nasty habit. That's one way. That's not allowed here. But like teabagging is also like another concept. My buddy Hassan, he always says, "Oh, you got teabagged," or "He got teabagged." It's like, it's not about the balls on the face. It's just like being disrespected, right? So I don't tolerate disrespect around here. You know, there's fun. Like, we can have lots of fun. We can make friends. We can talk about serious shit. We can talk about sex. We can talk about everything in the world. But like to disrespect, to objectify, to sexualize, um, yeah, that's a big kick out. Kick out. I don't like being called babe. I don't like that. So I'm just letting you know. I don't like that. I was like, like we can have boundaries, right? Like there's another one I hear all the time, and it's like just a culture that like I understand is like being called love. Like even like a casual interaction that you have at like the grocery store when you're checking out in the line, and they're like, is that going to be everything, love? And like, you don't know me. Dear is okay. I mean, even dear, I don't know. I'm not like it's not all that's also something that like I don't, because a lot of times like there's a tone that comes along. Like I've never been called dear by a woman. I've only been called dear by like an older man, and every single time I was called that, thank you. And that was rude. Man. That's too bad. I'm sorry dear peed on you. Thank you. Thank you for respecting my boundary. I don't think it was like necessary for you to call me that though in your response. I appreciate that you provide context. Um, yeah, I was just communicating the boundary. Like even with a woman, like if I'm at the checkout line and the woman calls me love, like I just like I've never vocalized it. Like I'm vocalizing it here because like this is my platform. You know what I mean? Like I'm here, like it's one sided, and so I feel confidence in that vulnerability to express that boundary. I feel comfortable to do that. But like in the grocery store when it's just like this casual contact that you have with somebody, but maybe I should, because I don't know. People only become aware of it once you say it, Yeah, I don't feel comfortable to be called love. And babe, and like even there's other terms of endearment, like other, affectionate terms. Um, babe is one, I guess. Regardless if it's a man or a woman. I feel like, yeah, we're just not that like intimate with each other yet. I'm not gonna cuss anybody out. No. No, I'm not gonna cuss anybody out. That's not effective. Like it's not gonna be effective in for the person I'm cussing out or for me. But like communicating the boundary, I feel is very powerful. Hey, Mike, good to see you. Is chef, is that a term of endearment that you're putting out? Like that doesn't offend me, but like I'm not a chef. I would say like I'm not a chef. Or did you mean chief? Which that is also an uncomfortable one too, right? Like if you like someone calls you chief or boss, or okay, yeah, you meant chief or boss. I also don't feel comfortable with that either. So it's not. Oh, I see. Yeah, no, I don't like being a jerk. But I do have the confidence of having uncomfortable conversations, which is that's it. But like I don't, having that conversation with like a note of anger is not. Um, I don't find that to be like effective communication. So I'm not angry with you. I don't want to cuss anybody out. I guess like in this platform, in this setting, if I ever did get to a point where I needed to like express my anger on something, I would just block the person. I mean, that's it. That ends up being it. I wouldn't even like I don't try to like talk down to a troll or like put them in their place. Which is like, okay, that's it. Like, these are the rules. Like, it's just not done like that around here. You know, go find some other platform to have fun at. We're going to continue on. Yeah, it is cultural slang. But cultural slang can be wrong, Michael. It can be wrong. I'm not saying it's all wrong, but it can be wrong. And when it's wrong, culture is constantly evolving, right? So, I mean, there's certain cultural slang words that, like, we know are no, right? There's certain ones. I'm not going to say them. But language changes. Culture changes. You know, the one I was talking to my cousin recently that I think is going to be like the next big one that's going to become like a thing that people address like on social media and, you know, try to end is the usage of the term, hey, you guys. You know, like, there are certain women that are offended by that. They don't identify with being a guy. Like, I'm actually like that. Like, if I hear, hey, here you guys, like, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not a guy. I don't like identify as a guy. But it doesn't hurt. Like, if someone says that, I'm not gonna like stop them in their tracks and be like, hey, don't call me guy. But I really do think that like maybe within like 5 or 10 years, there will be like an active cultural movement to like normalize the use of the word like y'all or hey you all, hey yous, hey yous. I don't know. I just like, yeah, I think there's gonna be like an evolution of culture, and that's just what happens. Bye, Reddit. Reddit just ended. Hey Michael, how do you like my hot tub? I'm doing some hot tub streaming. Woo! All right, so fight Destiny. You like tea? That's great. You found the perfect place. This is the tea channel, and I am very happy to talk about the history of tea. You are right that that China has been known to be the origin of tea. But there's some interesting, you know, deep diving that we can do into the history of the area that we now know as China, where the oldest tea trees are located, which is in Yunnan province, as well as certain parts of Guizhou and Hunan and even Sichuan province. That, you know, if you trace back to how old those trees are, those places were not China at that time. So I don't know how you feel about that. Like, that's like a whole other subject that I look forward to diving deep into in the future on, like, how do we categorize that? Like, do we call it not China, or do we just call it China? Do we, like, is it respectful to, like, fully research what those places were and the cultures and the heritages that were there at that time? Because there are also very, very old tea trees in what's presently known as Thailand, Myanmar, and even India, certain parts of India. I've been to some of those places, and it's mind-blowing. It's like, these are old trees. Where'd they come from? You ask, like, where did the seeds come from? Like, you know, a lot of the ethnic minorities living in those places, they don't have a written history. They just have like an oral history that's been passed generation to generation. And so you ask, you know, like, what do you know of your lineage? What do you know about how long your community has been making tea and, you know, creating this culture? And it's not like, yeah, they've got like an old book they can pull out and show you, oh, here, let's flip back and read that history. It's more of like folklore. It's more folklore. And, you know, from what I heard, you know, in the area of India that I'm specifically talking about is the state of Arunachal Pradesh, like in the mountains there, which is bordering with China, with modern day China, with Yunnan. And, he asked, like, where did these seeds come from? Like, as far as you can think about your family's history and your lineage, where do you think the seeds came from? I know it's not written in a book, but based off of, like, the oral histories and the legends that you've heard. And they said Tibet, which, that could be another argument to look if that's China or not. But interesting conversation. And that'll be a whole other day. Today we're talking about perfectionism. I'm not talking about Chinese tea history. But yeah, I don't know if you're still here, fantasy. But that's what you were talking about, Mike? I'm gonna look that word up. I mean, I know what that word is, like just from context. I know what that word is, but I actually want to like look up the official definition. Yeah, I don't know if that's exactly what you meant, Michael. But the overarching, I don't know if there's even an overarching term for that, because like that, and I think that there is a little bit of like culture change even going on how we should respectfully address that that language. Like that name is disrespectful. There's another name that's used. But it's true. Like different cultures have different understanding of words. And so, yeah, using words like boss or chief. If I hear it, if I'm addressed as those words, like I may have one interpretation of it, like one emotional response to it versus what the person addressing me has. But that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with me expressing my emotional response. And then also for them to express, okay, well, this is what I meant, and this is the history of like why I think this word means this. Like that's like perfectly honest communication, and that's what we need. Like we need that. And then what's going to happen when we leave that interaction with each other is we're both going to understand each other's perspective, and as we like move on into other interactions with other people and have more of this like intercultural interaction with other people, we're going to get better and better at it every time. Oh, that's funny. Someone got offended that they called me a Dumbo. They were like, no, I'm a woman. I didn't mean it that way, Dumbo. I'm like, what? Why are you going to call me Dumbo? And then she said, oh, but I totally respect your boundary. Yeah, but then you called me a Dumbo. That's funny. It's hard. It's hard to hear someone's boundary. And sometimes like our initial response when that happens is to like get defensive and feel like, oh, I'm being attacked, versus just being like, no, someone is just politely and civilly communicating their boundary and communicating their feelings. It doesn't mean I did something wrong and that like I need to put myself into a time machine and repent all of my badness. No, it doesn't mean that at all. And we've had a pretty good crowd on TikTok tonight. It's been great. Usually when I stream to TikTok, I like have no viewers, or one if I'm lucky. But thank you all for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Got some empowerment from it. I mean, I guess overall the overarching goal of tonight's conversation was just simply to not obsess about being perfect, and that if you do want, actually it's good to think about being perfect, but like thinking about it in the primal sense of like every night before you go to sleep, saying, I had a perfect day. I had oxygen, I had water to drink, I had food to eat. When those things start getting questioned, then it's understandable to like start to question your perfection. But yeah, you have to listen to everyone, but that's okay. It's a doable. It's a doable. But then also, like, if you are going to be like an activist, like what I'm trying to be, if you are going to like open that dialogue and express your feelings and want to be listened to, that's the harder work. And that's, you have to do that work with the mindfulness of knowing that you are forcing that other person to do work that they probably didn't want to do, like, and potentially don't even consent to doing. And so they're also allowed to have the boundary of like, I don't want to talk about this, and that's okay. Like, you have to be able to walk away from that. And it can sadden you. That's fine. It can sadden you, and you can be like, dang it, that person like is not open. Like they're not willing to put in the work. But you can't like ram it down their throat. You can't force it. Just like the girl, she wanted me to cuss her out. She was like, oh, well, this is your chance to cuss out. Be mad at me, cuss me out. That's what she was saying. I was like, I don't want to cuss you out. Like, like, I'm going to communicate my boundaries. You can choose to listen to it or not. That's your choice. It's your choice to do what you want to do. But that's not going to stop me from wanting to have this productive exchange and communication about my boundaries. Not at all. I think she was just pushing my buttons. She just like, she thought that would have been great entertainment if I would have started to cuss out chat. I'm not going to do that. I'm not in the mood. I'm never in the mood to do anything like that. Oh, it is almost midnight. I think it's time for me to go get some rest. Have a perfect night. Perfectly sleeping. Michael, I hope you're doing well. It's pretty late there. What are you doing up so late? Did you already sleep? Did you already like take a nap and you're just like up? Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy my weekend. But next weekend, I'm gonna be in New York City. I'm gonna be streaming. Yeah, let's go get some Korean barbecue, Michael. I can be down for that. I'm totally gonna eat. I'm hungry, but I think I'm just gonna go home and make a salad. Just make that's gonna be easy. Just make a salad and yeah, because I ate a lot earlier today. I made like corn dogs. And I'll show you how to make my tea. This is my tea table. I am using a Chinese style tea service tray. This is the Gung Fu style of tea brewing. This is the Gaiwan. It means a cup with a lid. This is where the tea leaf goes, and the hot water goes in here. And you use the lid, just crack it to the side to steep and decant the tea into this pitcher here. This is my tea. Look how beautiful this is. This is a white tea called shomei. It's a Chinese white tea. Really beautiful. And then I drink it from my small cup here. That's how I make my tea. Thank you for asking, Sam. How do you make your tea? What's still open that you can eat, Mike? Well, you have like, isn't there like, yeah, there's like a 24-hour diner you could go to. I'd say Whataburger, but I don't think Whataburger is open 24 hours. Are you trying to learn? Cool. Well, you should follow my channel. I'm a tea streamer. Do a lot of education around tea. And we even have a virtual tea room that we meet in every Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific. I do stream that virtual tea party, so you can watch others if you don't feel confident enough to join our tea party. And yeah, we talk about how to brew tea. We talk about how to enjoy tea. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. Sam, I look forward to seeing you around here. I stream 5 days a week, just on the weekdays, except for special occasions. So I was saying next week on Saturday, I'm going to be in New York City live streaming an incredible tea culture event that'll be going on all day. So I do a lot of IRL streaming using the same gear I have here in my studio. So like super high quality video content, and we travel all over the world. So the business that this channel is supporting is called Tealet. It is a B2B marketplace for independent tea growers. And so we represent tea farmers all over the world, throughout India, China, Taiwan, Japan, Sri Lanka, even some places in Africa. And when travel is safe again, we will be taking our IRL streams around the world to go learn about tea, introduce the people that make tea, and practice tea culture. So like definitely this is a great place to learn and build confidence and intuition around the tea lifestyle. And that is a great quote. Sam says, "A wise man once told me the best way to gain wisdom is to share tea with a stranger." That is truth. That is so truth. There's a lot of power, and it's not just in the tea itself, although the tea is a powerful component of it, but it is like a lot of that power is found in the vulnerability of service. Yeah, you learn a lot. You're granted so many gifts with vulnerability. So cheers to that. Oh, so Whataburger is 24/7. Well, you can go get yourself some healthy Whataburger. I still never tried P. Terry's. Next time I go to Austin, I'll have to try it. I'll have to try the Austin In-N-Out. Now you say In-N-Out, I'm like craving In-N-Out now. Maybe I'll stop on the way home and get myself some. That sounds good, man. In-N-Out with a vanilla shake. Whew. Yeah, but I ate junk food today. I had corn dogs. I made corn dogs at home. They were delicious, but it was greasy and heavy. So I think a salad would be a good choice before I go have a perfect sleep tonight. Hey Sam, well I am so grateful that you found our channel. I don't mind if you found this channel because of the hot tub. That's perfectly fine. That's why I'm streaming in a hot tub today. Oh man, I love this. Like especially when I'm like what's this way? If I'm like right here, this is like pretty good. Like just relaxing in the hot tub, drinking some tea while I'm hanging out in my hot tub. All right, let's go see if there's any friends we can go raid. Who we can go say hi to. I'm sure a Cactus is streaming. Cactus is diehard. Oh, Captain E. Should we go listen to some synth music? Listen to some music of support. I don't think I've ever raided. Maybe they won't even notice us coming in. I don't know if we go hang out with Cactus. He'll say hello. Yeah, let's go raid Cactus. It's been a while since I've raided Cactus. Yeah, no, that's a little too heavy. Put you all to sleep. Classical guitar. I'm gonna say hi to the cactus. Cactus is a dear, good friend. He was making a dirt ball earlier today, and that was awesome. He makes dirt balls. He was trying to become a dirt ball apprentice. And if you want to know what a dirt ball is, you should ask him when we go in. He'll be more than happy to show you his dirt ball collection. It's a thing. It's a thing. It's like a meditative, powerful practice that he's got going on. But Cactus is a classical guitarist. He's like a competition level, and he practices every day. He streams it 8 hours every night in the middle of the night, and he's just incredible. And it's very peaceful, a great place to lurk as you are falling asleep. So I'm going to leave you with that. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for hanging out on our channel today, having a nice conversation. It was really fun to hang out in the hot tub with you all. Well, we talked about perfection. I'll see you next week.